Welcome, everybody. It is finals day. We are down to the last series in the NLC regular season, and it is, of course, between Fnatic and Excel. Now, before we jump in and get on with the day's activities, I have to say thank you to our sponsors, which is MasterCard, El Giganten, and Telia. And, of course, I'm joined on desk today by Trouble and temporarily Orcs. We may be subbing him out later on when Gulborg decides to show up to work.
Yeah.
However, we have Orcs, and he'll be also going into cast that first game and the rest of the series too. So we've got the extra double sort of shotgun highlight that Orcs is going to give to us both on the desk and in game. Of course, you guys can get involved at home as well over on our social media channels. If you go to NLC LOL, you should be able to find us, and there is loads of RP to be given away today. Like, we have got loads of RP, and if you stick around and watch the broadcast, there may even be some more special hidden RP giveaways throughout the day. So make sure, if you want to get your hands on some RP to go and spend on your skins, just keep watching the show.
I've just realized it. That's why Goldbug's not here. He's trying to win the RP.
He's trying to win the RP. But I didn't also mention the grand prize. It's not just RP that we're giving away. We're also giving away a Q&A session with Shox on the Rift. Yes, the real Shox. The real Shox from the real LEC. She will be able to play a game, and you'll be able to ask her any questions that you like. And she's such a wonderful person. So I do recommend, if you guys want to get involved with that, you absolutely should. Guys, before we get in though, guys, I think we've had such a long season. Honestly, we've had such a long season. It's been a really, really wonderful time going through spring. We've seen some teams really rise up to the challenge. I want to take a little look back at what the NLC spring has been like.
Thank you for telling me we're coming back on production. Hello and welcome back to game number 2. Producer was muted. You moron, Max. You absolute moron.
So how often would you say it happens that you talk when you're actually muted?
Yeah, off.
Yeah. He's muted. Jake, you're muted.
Jake, you're muted.
I'm muted.
I want to know what your thoughts are.
Orcs is muted.
Apparently I am.
You might be muted, Trouble. You might be muted.
Okay, he was kind of, subtly just flexing it a bit.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
You're feeling good? You feeling happy?
I think I can probably call myself a professional caster.
They look like they're fine. Playing through Archu. Have I lost connection? Am I here?
No, you're still here.
Okay, everything on my end, every single feed has frozen for me, so I was really scared.
My favorite moment, it was hands down Gulborg when he said that thing.
I really tried. I guess I'm just that bad. You can call me a bit self-defecating, but yeah. What does that mean?
He just said it.
It means
What does it mean?
yourself. It means you're pooing yourself.
Oh my god, that is like a top 4 esports moment for me. I was cracking up.
I never self-defecate. All right, don't turn my words around. Don't make anything funny happen. Vigo, I know you edit this. Yes, I self-defecate. All right, I'm the worst caster we have.
BTXL, but you basically said, I want to see BTXL win lane, win game.
First off, I'm kind of hurt that I had to do a 1-minute monologue of my analysis of how I wanted Excel to get out, and you just boiled it down to win lane, win game. And then
More in attack, and definitely showed today that we can beat other teams. And
I think you're gonna have to ask Gulborg about the win lane, win game situation. It's his book after all. He's the one that came up with it.
It's an incredibly well-written book about the real high-level analysis that goes into win lane, win game.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the NLC. Block me again, Gulborg. See what happens.
No.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Can you give me a cheeky flex before we end the interview, mate? With how those guns for the stream.
but I have to do it for a proxy box.
Okay. How about yeah, there it is.
Mashallah, wa habibi.
Oh my god, sorry, I've left the door open. You can see the loo. That was
That's song theme.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's song theme.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was hilarious. We've had some great moments, honestly. We've had some great moments this season. And no part due to how amazing all you guys are on the desk getting cast. Gulborg especially coming in with some banger moments. I'm sad he's not here to have watched that live with us, because there was some peak Gulborg right there.
Yeah.
But of course, the NLC is not about us. It's about the players. It's about the teams. And we are here at the finals. And I'm bringing us right back. Let's take a look at how we got here to the finals. It is, of course, Fnatic versus XL, but that doesn't tell you the entire story of this bracket. We had some really close moments throughout it.
We did, and I just specifically want to hone down on Fnatic, because when Fnatic came in with this brand new roster, they brought a couple of rookies in, they kept a couple of key members in the team, and then the first game that they played, they actually came into the tournament losing their first game. Fnatic came in as the champions back-to-back, went to EU Masters back-to-back, and they came into this season in the NLC 2021 spring and lose their first game. And then pride comes back and everything clicks together and they start stomping. I'm not talking about them winning. I'm talking about clean wins. I'm talking about textbook wins. I'm talking about a completely different Fnatic than we saw in game one. And I think that has been the trend from game number 2 in the group stage until now.
I think the big story for me of the playoff bracket is the fact that we had Nordavind and Singularity coming from the losers bracket match and making it all the way up to that losers bracket final, and then Nordavind going up and taking a game of Fnatic Rising and giving them a little bit of a challenge. And considering Nordavind were one loss away from being in relegations, to have made this big upturn, especially with their start of the split. Similar to Fnatic, they had a rough start, but they managed to bring it together and really put in a good effort. But in the end, it does end up being BTXL and Fnatic Rising, and BTXL looking really strong, handing Fnatic their first ever loss to them in the playoffs from their NLC or UKLC history.
Yeah, and that also does set you up for the expectations. XL have never beaten Fnatic in a finals. They beat them for the first time in that winners bracket final that we had earlier in the week, but they have never, ever bested Fnatic in a head-to-head when it comes to the end of split, the playoffs, wherever you want to talk about it. This would be the first time, if XL were able to win and repeat what they did earlier in the week, it would be the first time they have ever beaten Fnatic and claimed the title, which would be a pretty big deal, since those two have actually been part of the same particular tournament. But of course, let's take a look back at how Fnatic fared yesterday versus Nordavind in that best of 5. Oh wait, no, just kidding. I've just found out that we had a computer crash.
Trolling you.
I'm just trolling you. I read the first line of what my producer said to me, didn't read the second line, but there we go. Let's have a look at today's matches then, because we have only one match, as I've built it up so many times, and I just want to let you know that it's starting in around 15 minutes, all night long. It's BTXL versus Fnatic. We have a best of 5. The winner not only wins the NLC, but they will also get themselves a group stage spot at the European Masters. They won't have to go in through that pesky play-in stage and have to cross those extra hurdles to get to the main event of the European Masters, which I'm sure is something that both Fnatic and XL desperately want. Maybe more so than anything else at the end of this final, is that spot means so much to both the players and the teams.
I think as well, XL has always had this sort of mental block against Fnatic. Winning here puts them in a really good stead. I think their roster looks better than ever before. I think they should be making a deep run at EU Masters. I think both teams should be. But coming in as the first seed, coming in with that sort of less work to do and a lot more time to sort of watch and learn and have a look at the other regions, and also just coming in with that confidence from beating out the other team from your region is a big deal. A lot of importance on this match.
Also want to say that going through the play-ins in EU Masters is extremely dangerous. We had Riddle play the European Masters champions to be in their playing stage last split, and they actually lost to them. Because it's just that tough. The competition has risen massively, and teams that will play through the playing stage could potentially be the champions of that EU Masters tournament. So I think it's much better for you to have a guaranteed spot in the groups rather than trying to fight. Because yes, fighting through the playings will get you sort of walked up to go into group stage, will give you that practice that you need. But then it's not guaranteed that you will make it because the teams are that much stronger this year.
Yeah, I mean, 2 European Masters, I believe. We've had a play-ins team win the whole thing. I think the first was Berlin International Gaming. The second was LDLC.
Yeah.
So you ain't safe if you're a strong team in the play-ins, or you consider yourself a strong team in the play-ins. But, at the very flip side, you could see the Fnatic or XL maybe make that miracle run from play-ins to champions. It's not something that is uncommon. As he said, I think 33% of all European Masters have been won by a play-in stage team. So that's a pretty big deal. But of course, let's take a look at what you guys, the broadcast crew, have predicted for today. We have predictions across the board. Most of us going for XL, and it is actually Dan. You've chosen to go for Fnatic Rising 3-1. Do you think the curse is too hard to lift?
I think there's a couple of factors. I think ultimately the last time these two teams met, it was close. I think that game one was definitely on a knife's edge, and Fnatic realistically could have taken that series. I think against Nordavind, other than that one blip in that game they had, they were really convincing in their victories. And the thing is, BTXL did drop a game against Nordavind. It's not like Nordavind are significantly weaker than these rosters. They definitely are not as strong, but they pose a challenge, pose a threat, and Fnatic seemed capable of handling them. I think XL have looked really good all split, but if history is going to repeat itself, I think Fnatic can come through with this win.
First of all, I think you're an edgelord because you go in against the wave right here. I'm just going to put this down there. Okay. And secondly, I will completely also agree with you. The fact that it ended up being like the deciding game ended up being a split-second decision with a base race happening. And you heard Febvin, he was like, if we're going to do it, we have to be more decisive in doing it, because he understood that last second, split-second call was what cost them the best of series. It could have been them waiting in the finals and BTXL having to play. And in all honesty, I think it's good for Fnatic that they played yesterday. It's good that they had that official game practice against Nordavind. They got in 4 games that they were able to practice in an official tournament rather than just having scrims. And they're going to be more fired up going into this best of 3 series.
Yeah, I think a big thing is an example. You saw they played up against the Nocturne Karthus, and they struggled against it. And it's a fact that they've seen that that's an issue for them. They can have adapted their strategies. They can just think, okay, we're just going to ban that. It means that they're prepared so that if XL were going to bring it out and they hadn't played against Nordavind, it could have been a problem for them. So it does give some advantages in that sense. Obviously, XL's the opportunity to sit back and watch and be ready, knowing their final spot is secured. But I think all in all, we can break this down in so many ways. I think it's going to be extremely close. Last series was extremely close. I don't think there's much in it for either side, and it really comes to who's performing better on the day.
I'm going to break this down for you real quickly, because we've been like extremely, oh my God, Fnatic, they're so good. They had to go through lower bracket. Yes, no. 3-0 BTXL. That was my prediction, and that was for a reason. I think the roster they're bringing in this year is absolutely fire. If you look at every single lane from top to jungle to mid to bottom to support, everything just seems to have fallen into place. The macro is impeccable, and it's not just that. It's not just about finding the macro and finding what your identity is as a team. It's also that their players individually just outplay their opponents, just straight up know how to outplay their opponents. And they don't just do it once, they don't just do it twice, they do it multiple times, they do it every game. It feels like, I know I keep repeating myself, but I haven't seen anyone out jungle Marcoon so far in the entire tournament. And it's going to be, mid lane is going to be such a pressure point for both of these teams, because that means they get to free their junglers. And if you unleash Marcoon on the map, it's going to be so hard to handle for Fnatic.
I'm gonna say one thing that I've learned over the last couple of days and watching the XL Fnatic series as well. Whoever blind picks Nah wins the game.
True.
So I think when we get to draft, give Pride or Romy Nah, and you're in a good spot for the series. But I think, Trouble, you have quite succinctly wrapped up a lot of what's important about this, especially the jungle matchup. Like, there was a lot of eyes on Maxi yesterday, and some, especially Gulborg. Gulborg was saying, "Oh, Maxi's popping off. Oh, Maxi's disappointing.
Denmark.
Oh, Maxi's popping off. Denmark." But at the end of the day,
Wait, is Gulborg here?
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it is going to be an important matchup. But of course, it all starts in draft, and that was something that was pretty important between Fnatic and XL, especially over the second 2 games in the series. So let's go to a quick break. When we are back, we'll have the first game of our best of 5 finals here at the NLC. It's exciting. We're coming to our first game of the series, BTXL versus Fnatic. Now, BTXL gets side selection because they came in as the top seed, having won the winners bracket. And so they'll have that side selection for the first game of this series. I will get confirmation from my league ops admin which side they have chosen, but I'm sure we'll find out relatively soon anyway, because we are heading into draft. And I think it is going to be a very, very close one. I'm expecting 5 games, even though I put 3-1. I'm hoping for 5 games, in the sense that just, I'm hoping for a complete banger, a complete banger for the best of 5 series here at the end of the NLC. But it is BTXL choosing a blue side, and they are banning Thresh straight away.
I'm just so happy they choose blue side because they can force Fnatic Rising in so many bans or so many picks open. So literally when you're red side, you're either going to try to get as many confident bans as possible in there, or you're going to leave as many possible as you can, because blue side only has 1 pick and then you can pick the other 2 remaining. Although for BTXL, I would really like to see them snatch away the Gnar really early. You mentioned it earlier as well. I think it is the name of the game for both of these teams. Both the top laners for BTXL and Fnatic Rising are extremely comfortable with it. I'd like to see possibly a Tristana get snatched away, if not banned as well. The rest, you guys know, like the Lilias, the Kaisers, the Threshes, they just all get banned because they're S tier picks.
Yeah, a lot of really strong picks still open, though. I mean, Hecarim's a big one for me. I think that's potentially problematic. I think the thing is, we've seen yesterday Navi first picked and Fnatic had an answer to it. So I think although it's likely going to be the strategy for BTXL, I feel like Fnatic are potentially ready to leave that one open. But we saw that fail yesterday, so that's the big if of it. But with Renekton banned, I kind of feel like that's Pride's typical answer to Gnar. I think this is kind of XL forcing a Gnar ban, and then they can first pick the Hecarim if they want to. And unless, I mean, it's a difficult situation, because if Fnatic ban away the Gnar, Hecarim's left open. If Fnatic don't ban away the Gnar, they can take it and they don't have an answer to it.
I feel like there's a lot of answers though, because if they do ban the Gnar here, which means that they can grab the Hecarim, the Udyr is up, and Advian's Rel is up. So Fnatic can snatch both of these away, which means, this is why I said that when you're on red side, you have the opportunity to ban all the OP champions or leave some open and sort of try to trade with blue side 1 versus 2, and you get 2 more comfy and S tier champions. This is why BTXL are like a little bit slow here, because they're trying to figure out, do we pick Udyr, do we pick Hecarim, obviously, or do we pick the Rel? And I'm expecting Fnatic Rising to absolutely take the Rel away from Advian, because this is literally the only champion he played in the Fnatic series.
Yeah, and I mean, it goes without saying how strong that champion is. And I think having Hecarim as well with Rel is a super devastating combo. Obviously, you can put the stun on top of him, makes his engage even more threatening. So I think they absolutely need to deny that one away. But actually, looks like they might be leaning in a different direction, going with the Alistar. And this is something we've seen reasonably often picked into the Rel initially, sort of as like an answer to it. But this leaves it open, and that means that BTXL should likely be locking this Rel in. I think the Alistar matchup is fine. They have taken the Udyr here, which means they should be able to actually exceed the Hecarim in terms of clear speed, but in terms of scaling, like the Hecarim will come out ahead, and the Rel is a no-brainer.
I just really like this. Advian, again, on comfort, they have to lock in the Rel. They can choose to go on with the Caitlyn. The Jinx is open as well. We saw how absolutely dominant the Jinx was yesterday. Like, Bean was not touched on it when he played together with the Rel. And now they do have a lot of peel. They have the Hecarim, they have the Rel. This can work. Jinx versus Caitlyn is also a pretty good matchup for both of these ADCs. They usually do play against each other. So I'd like to see if they're going to choose to prioritize here. They're going to prioritize the Orianna for hat tricks. That's a lot of protection. So whatever ADC they choose to go with, I'm pretty sure they're going to be very safe.
I feel like this might end up having to be something like a Xayah here for Bean. I think looking at what's on the side of BTXL, you're really struggling if you have all this dive and then the Orianna Shockwave follow-up. There's not too many AD carries who can necessarily survive it. And then you can potentially leave the mid pick until after sort of bans have come through. Azir is something I expect to see BTXL ban away from here. Febevan was playing it all the time yesterday, and it sort of coincides with Xayah very well with that backline safety.
I would say ban possibly the Syndra too, because it has been like a huge peak for Febevan in the mid lane. He has dominated so many Orianna lanes, playing the Syndra into them, and we know that mid lane is a very big point of pressure for Fnatic. If Febevan wins his lane, if Febevan stomps his lane, there's just no doubt that Fnatic are going to win the game. And Hatrix also said it in the previous time that the matchup that he had with the Syndra versus the Twisted Fate, it was like really bad for him, and that since they just opened down mid from the sort of Fnatic, they just insta lose the game and they just don't want to do this again.
Are you thinking about if they ban Azir, is this a potential deadly Vayne game? Like with the Alistair and the Udyr, like is it something that they could consider?
I would say, honestly, I would really like to see either a Caitlyn or a Jinx being picked up here because they have the range. Obviously, they ban the Jhin and the Ezreal because these two have the range. But honestly, I'm a little bit surprised why they would ban the Ezreal because Advian is not necessarily a support that roams together with Macoon. It's more like Rux likes to do that. So banning the Ezreal is a big question mark for me. I would definitely like to see either the Jinx or mostly the Caitlyn actually being banned here because Caitlyn does really well in Desire.
We'll see what the final ban is the Azir. So it is the Azir ban. So as Dan said, like you were both correct on the mid lane bans. Like ban the Syndra, ban the Azir, make it a little bit more difficult for Febby. We'll see what Febby chooses to respond with. Corki is not something we've seen a huge amount of recently, but it is something that has been. Yeah, you like the what for what reason? Just the ability to peel back against the Rel and
the miasma is so good against the Rel, against the Hecarim, just the slows, and then the threat of the ult is a big factor. Victor works as well. The gravity field is obviously really important. You want a strong backline mage to help bolster and keep being safe while also outputting that damage. If you have two threats, it's not as easy just to wipe out Bean and instantly dispatch him. But now it comes over to BTXL, and there's options with the AD carriers. I think this is why they were fine to take the Orianna there, because there are quite a few options still open and available. It really sort of depends what they want in the composition. Looks like they might be leaning towards the Jinx, which Trouble was saying, but they are leaving that for now. Aatrox, something that Arome's been really confident on. And obviously lends itself to this dive composition. And I think if you're talking dive, Samira functions really well, provide that backline threat, and then it really comes down to Fnatic Rising to play peel for their carries in this situation, because there's a lot of backline threat on this composition from BTXL.
Honestly, I absolutely love the Victor pick right here because the Aatrox can get really sneaky flanks, and we've seen how unplayable it is to go into Aatrox when the gravity field is down. You cannot reach the backline, and it is very scary how similar these two compositions are, how perfect, textbook front to back they both are, with their mages in the mid lane, with the hard carry ADCs down the bot lane, with their engaged supports, engaged junglers, disengaged. They have absolutely everything. And if the Cho'Gath gets added here, this is going to be another layer of protection for the Xayah and the Victor in the backline. I really like it. What I do like a little bit more about the side of BTXL is that at least they have a few lanes of pressure. I do like the bot lane to try and pressure them, and mostly I do like the Aatrox up top because you can absolutely abuse the Cho'Gath. And with what I've seen pathing-wise from Macoon, he gets up top without anyone expecting him. If he can manage to snowball a Rome, this is going to be a really good game for them.
I think as well, for me, BTXL have a composition with so much engaged duels. And the thing is, although these are two really strong carries for Fnatic Rising, and Bean and Featherman have been really strong performers so far, if one of them goes down, you're left with 3 tanks and your other carry. If both of them go down, you're left with 3 tanks. I think that once the momentum comes in the team fights with BTXL, if they get a good engage off, Jinx is going to start getting resets. I think they'll just run over this. I prefer BTXL's composition, but I think Fnatic still have some windows with which they can start to come out ahead. If they do manage to mitigate those engages, they have some peel tools, but I'm favoring BTXL in this game 1.
Oh, Ox, you know, I've had enough. I've had enough of you on the desk, mate. Can you just leave?
I think I'm going to leave. I think I'm going to throw it over the caster
Thank
desk.
you. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
I thought you were taking a joke. I thought you were going to pick that up. Thanks, Orcs. Hi, Orcs. How's it going?
Hey, yeah, how's it going?
Normally
Just
at this
arrived,
point-
just got in here. How's it going?
You should have taken the coat off. I didn't realize. Should have planned that a little bit better. Normally, I like to speak to you about what your thoughts are on the draft right now, but we just kind of had your thoughts on the draft. So,
What are your thoughts on the draft, Jake? What are you feeling?
I actually do like what both teams put together, but some of the things that were raised on the desk is the Victor being able to shut down things like the flanks from Arome. Kind of, if you're trying to move forward, the Victor able to kind of deal with that with the gravity field. I'm glad that it was a Jinx and not a Vayne. Trouble did kind of hit on the fact that she wanted that, but it adds to the range. It also just gives you some really nice team fighting as well. So I think both teams have some nice tools to work with, to be honest here. And I think that no team got out-drafted, because yesterday's series was very much whoever won draft seemed to just win the game. This game, to me, feels a little bit more like they both got good tools. It's now a matter of execution and how can they run with that.
Yeah, I am favoring BTXL a bit. I think they have the edge, but I agree that neither team feels doomed in the draft phase.
Yeah,
it's just I think one side has the edge, but realistically, I think the early game is going to be a massive factor. I think it's going to come down to mid jungle pretty heavily. We've seen Maxi run away with the games yesterday. He's on the Udyr. He can look to challenge the Hecarim in the early game. Not having a flash makes you a bit vulnerable, and also you have that faster clear speed on the Udyr.
Yeah, you do. We did see Bean pretty much play nothing but Xayah. Actually, I think it was only Xayah and maybe one Jinx game yesterday from him. So yeah, he had one Jinx game, and then everything else was Xayah from him. So kind of sticking to what he's been working with recently, and honestly had some really, really good performances. Even in their loss, I think Bean was trying his hardest to win that game, really putting the work in. So a solid pickup for him here, but Deadly has been probably one of our most consistent AD carries in the league. Him and Avian now with this Jinx Rel combo, very scary little combo between them. But one to the Rift. No early shenanigans to start this one off.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, Bean has been, for me, probably the best performing AD carry in the league. I think even in the games that have gone bad for Fnatic, even the games that have looked rough, it's kind of been him who's been stepping up for the roster. Really always just putting out huge numbers in team fights and always having value. Whereas I don't think Deadly's necessarily played bad by any means. There's a reason Excel is doing well and he's a big factor, but I think he hasn't been forced to sort of pull as much weight as Bean has in a lot of their games.
Well, Fnatic actually went for a leash to help Maxi, so a little bit later to the lane, as Bean's going to get engaged on by Avian, but Avian's going to miss the slam down.
Yeah, just able to walk out of that one, and you have to be careful of that. It's a really devastating combo, the Rel and the Jinx. I've got some heavy trades, but Avian getting chunked out quite a bit.
Yeah, Deadly also getting a bit of damage put into him, but Bean, under half health, has been forced to burn that pot, while Deadly quite a bit of hold on to his. Will just sustain off the lifesteal that he'll get naturally from his Doran's sword.
I think a big factor for me is obviously we have that super powerful engage potential from the Rel, but a big reason Jinx has sort of started to have a resurgence is there were some changes to her. Her traps now activate quite a bit quicker, to the point where it's really easy to lay a CC with them. If Avian lands any sort of hard CC on a Bean, instantly the traps come out and it'll just be a heavy CC chain that you're not really able to do anything about.
Yeah, there's already a lot of CC with the fact it's a Rel. Adding that in with the traps and the zaps and stuff like that, it does get really hard to get away from them if they do connect onto you. Now, Pride going in just to place a couple of wards in Markun's jungle to spot him out. Maxi, as far as his farming is going, finished up his jungle camps already and now moving on to the crab. So this is the tempo you were talking about from that Udyr early.
Yeah, it's just that much faster than the Hecarim. You can see the difference. Both of them have gone for those full clears, but Maxi is just a little bit ahead, and he's going to use that to try and make an impact in the mid lane.
Yeah, has that flash, has the bear stance available. That's going to be the flash followed out, but this Orianna is getting cooked in its first blood to Fnatic.
Really nice play. The wave was pushing in. Hat-Trick's a little bit overextended, and great capitalization. You can see that they knew they were getting the kill there. Both committed their flashes. And it's not going to have a huge impact because Hat-Tricks can TP back in and is going to be able to crush that wave, but it could have been a little bit precarious otherwise.
Seeing Pride on the other end of the Cho'Gath Aatrox matchup, had that versus Curb in the final game yesterday. Did pretty good in this matchup comparatively, though, to yesterday's game.
Yeah, I mean, he's been trading pretty heavily with Rome up in farm as well, so handling this one well. Fnatic looking to be on a good start here so far, and
gets the silence off, although that's a third Darkened Blade, not hitting the sweet spot. Pride. They're buffing Aatrox soon. He's getting an extra couple. He's not, by the way, for anyone who just had a mini heart attack about that. I was joking. Yeah, apart from that trade, doing pretty good so far. He's going to go back to base and get himself the Bramble Vest to kind of deal with the healing. But as we rewind and have a look at this first blood on the Hat-Tricks, it's just simple, really.
You can't flash the auto attack, unfortunately. Once it's connected, and they both flash to commit for this one. And you can see the wave position there. Pushed it forwards, and Hat-Trick's TP'd in, but because Feather matched, they weren't actually able to break the freeze. So now Feather is just frozen the wave. Hat-Tricks can't step up because of the threat with having no flash, and so you've actually seen Featherman off the back of that kill get a 10 CS lead, which is pretty big. Now they are going to use the fact that Featherman was freezing the wave to get some pressure around this dragon. Oh, Brooks
Oh, there's the crash down already. This might just be one dead cow. Rux actually gets the taxi out from the minions, and now it's Bean getting jumped onto. A lot of damage put into the Fnatic bot lane, but nobody dies there. And Bean only burns his heal. That is the only summoner spell lost.
That was a complete misplay, though. I'd actually be happy if we get a replay of that, because Marcoon just kind of botched that one. He knocked Rux out of Deadly's traps, so they didn't actually connect. If you just waited like a split second, he could have run past Rux, knocked him back while he was hard CC'd. Oh, Engage coming in.
They're jumping onto Avian. They're trying to get the feathers down so they can pull back and catch Avian. But already, Rux has lost his life. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Deadly Conqueror is stacked, and he is now cutting through these Fnatic members. Maxi will get taken down by the pony, or will he? He's able to get away to safety. Febby will keep him alive. And oh my lord. Nice little turnaround for Fnatic. That was scary for a moment.
Yeah, still not a hugely favorable play for the side of so we'll get this replay. So if we watch, CC comes in from Advian, traps are there, and he gets knocked out before they connect. If the traps had connected, I'm certain Rux would have gone down there. So just a bit of an unfortunate misplay, a bit of lack of coordination coming out. And then we see the second replay, and this is where the big issue here is they don't have the information on Marcoon. Rux commits with his flash, and Advian's able to buy a lot of time. Now, it does end up being a 1-for-1, but you're burning more summoners on the side of Fnatic Rising. That's both your bot laners' flashes, and also you were very close to going down there. Maxi only just escaping.
Yeah, very, very close. Febby was able to roam over as well, just to make sure that they didn't overchase. But that did come off the back of Fnatic starting that fight, and like you said, they did burn more summoner spells, so they were lucky to go even there. But also did lose out on a fair few summoner spells. Deadly still has his flash available. Heal a third of the time are used. So a bit of a wait until that comes back up, but still has that flash, more importantly. Is now Pride is getting some attention put in by Marcoon, able to get himself the silence, and the rupture's enough to zone him away. So Pride able to survive that little onslaught.
There's cause issues, so lack of flash in the Cho'Gath, being immobile. If you are forced to push up on the wave, it is going to make things a little bit difficult for you. Kind of see how the early games panned out. Unsurprisingly, Maxi up a decent amount of farm. Same from Febiven, but that's mostly due to that gank earlier, which put hat-tricks on the back foot. And the bot side, Deadly is pulling ahead of Bean. It's kind of anticipated. Playing the Jinx and the Zai, you have the range advantage, and also Alistair just not as helpful in the early levels. Obviously, Advian is able to threaten from level 1, whereas Alistair's only really able to play defensive as you don't have your combo available. And just over the course of that, being able to pull a slight lead. But all in all, these teams are still very close.
Well, now Marcoon looking to punish Pride, although Maxi is waiting about. The World End has been used, and Pride now looking for that silence, looking for the turnaround. Can he get the feast off? No, he can't. Rome able to find himself the kill, and it's 2 for 2 on the scoreboard now.
Yeah, the lack of flash, and also Maxi wasn't able to get in quite as quick as Marcoon. They burst through the Cho'Gath, able to find the kill, and Maxi just has to run away. So great play coming out from the side of BeachXL, able to find a bit of an advantage and get a Rome rolling, who we saw him early in the lane down in farm, is now up pretty significant. Yeah, and we see the replay. They decided to focus Marcoon. The feast does come out just to try and help Maxi kill him, but the damage just isn't quite there from the Udyr to finish out the Hecarim, especially with the Aatrox there on full HP. You can't risk it. And now Pride not going to miss too much farm on this, but it does give a great window for Arome to reset, pick up some items, and get back on the map. In this time, you actually see that Maxi, he's just gone straight towards the Herald and should just be picking this up. No contest.
Yeah, I believe he blast-coned over the wall as well, so hasn't been seen on this, so completely blind. Yeah, the blast-cone's down, so Maxi, that's how he got into the pit. And Marcoon completely none the wiser, because he's doing his chicken camp at the moment. They did also rotate Rux over to make sure that this was uncontested. Now, that Dragon that XL started earlier was stopped. So they will try and trade out on a neutral objective, at least for something for themselves, as Fnatic don't really have the positioning in the area to contest this Dragon, so they'll quite happily have to give that one up.
Yeah, but that earlier contest from Fnatic did delay the Dragon heavily, and that's one of the big things. If you are taking the Dragon, you want to be stacking it, you want to be getting towards the soul as soon as possible. This being a delayed first Dragon means there's not as much pressure from BeachXL picking that up, and the trade-off is Fnatic have already managed to move out onto the top side of the map. You can see Maxi moving through, getting some vision down. Actually can't put some vision down because he's got the Rift Herald, but is just checking the camps up on the top side. And Arome's going to be a bit careful. He can be engaged on here. He has no vision to keep himself safe.
Yeah, looks like they're going to go for the play. Bear stance toggled, Arome chilling smited. Gets himself caught, and now Bean's looking to try and find those feathers, but Rome able to pop the World Ender and survive this. Actually forces Maxi to flash from the Infernal Chains as Advian makes his way over. Fnatic trying to go for the play, but aren't going to be able to find anything from that.
Yeah, unfortunately, didn't have Rux there to follow up the CC. Could have been a very different situation there. Maybe even just force a flash from Arome. That would have been enough, but Bean isn't able to find the root, and ultimately just the bear stun from Udyr, not quite capable of doing enough. So it also gives time. BTXL now moved their bot lane up to the top side, so nothing really goes amiss. Herald still in pocket of Maxi though, but for now it looks like Marcoon's making a play on the bot side. Still no flash for Pride. I think he's dead here.
I think Pride is in a whole lot of trouble. Ghost is on. Pride gets knocked back, dodges around the rupture, throws out the silence, but he is caught inside the Infernal Chains. And this kill is going to be gifted over to Marcoon. He is just a ganking machine this game. Fnatic are going to try and make a little play on the other side of the map as Maxi going to help deal with this. As actually Rux jumps in. A great stun though by Advian to interrupt the headbutt pole combo, but Advian will lose his life for this one. Rux is the one to find the kills. The Feather Storm is used. Hatrix making his way forwards. Got the flash, got the shockwave. Bean on the run. They get the slow of the dissonance, and now the shockwave's flashed away by Bean. Able to dodge away from the zap as Maxi trying to put the damage into Hatrix as the gravity field is going to connect onto Deadly, and now he's getting cooked by the Chaos Storm. Maxi solo and going down as Hatrix able to take him out. Rux now just looking to try and find the headbutt pole combo, this time on to the mid laner for XL as he is fried by the death laser and taken down by Featherven. Here comes Marcoon though. This fight is not done. The super mega death rocket secures the kill onto Rux, and it is now Fevy having a flash over the traps away from Marcoon. This fight is absolute madness.
What a chaotic fight. I mean, just so many back and forth plays coming out that one. I gotta say my favorite is Fevy sidestepping the rocket and letting Rux take that one and just go down. Like, nah, I'm the mid laner here. I'm making the plays. Very hectic. Ultimately, Deadly and Featherven being the big survivors from the original play. Advian actually going down and then come back and respawning. But initially, the dive ended up being botched thanks to Advian. We'll get a little replay off here. So, this is the initial replay. Pride just caught out. No way you're getting out there. And on the top side, so Rux goes for the combo on Deadly, but the stun from Advian is absolutely perfect. So only the headbutt goes off, and the pulverize is blocked. So instead, they turn onto the Rel, who has Aftershock up. Much harder target to take down. You can see Bean starts tanking tower hits, so he has to use the ultimate. And this is when Hatrix comes in. It's a bit of a slow play here. They know he has flash, which is why Hatrix doesn't commit the shockwave initially. Does try and get it there, but doesn't find it. But now Featherven turns up, and he is extremely threatening. Instantly zones Deadly out the fight and forces him away. And then it looks like it's going to be a pretty simple cleanup on a Hatrix. He does trade off with Maxi. And the CC layering here is actually really nice between Rux and Featherven. And you can see Deadly wants to sort of assist with this. But it's when the Hecarim comes in. And this is a big power of Hecarim at the moment. The speed he has in his kit, the ability to chase down targets. And yeah, that's a little... Featherven's thinking about blocking that one. He's like, nah, I'm not interested. And yeah, just ends up being a hectic fight. A lot of trading back and forth. Pretty even overall in the end of that, though.
A very, very long replay as well. And what we missed in that was Hatrix actually had a really nice trade with Featherven, got a shockwave off and forced Fevy out of lane, who's had to teleport back towards the mid. Rift Herald was thrown down in the top side, as you could just see. Very low turret, only one plate standing on it, although those plates will be falling off right about now. But Fnatic did try and get themselves, you know, a bit of that gold back, as they are down right now to XL. And honestly, Marcoon has just been so proactive on this Hecarim. I mean, Maxi's also been proactive, but it just feels like Marcoon is gaining more with his proactivity.
Yeah, and I mean, now he has the chem tank. If you're ever overextended, even like marginally, you're going to be chased down by this Hecarim. The speed at which you can get onto with Ghost, chem tank, and just Hecarim's kit is pretty insane. Now, BTXL will be able to defend this tower, so still no tower going down either side. Obviously, the Herald was what chunked it, as you said, Jake, in the replay. But Canna's still waiting for that first influx of tower gold. Both teams actually still playing towards the top side. I think for BTXL, it's a matter of defending that tower. You don't want to give it the first tower. It's also playing towards the Herald when it spawns. But it shows kind of the lack of priority on the dragons right now. Bio Dragon up and available, and neither team even putting any pressure towards it. We could see potentially Maxi look to solo it though, but actually he's pathing towards the top side. So again, these teams aren't massively interested in these early dragons. Obviously, they take a while to sort of pay for themselves, whereas the Herald has that immediate impact.
Yeah, I feel if this Herald wasn't about to spawn up, that dragon would be getting taken by somebody right now. But the Herald definitely the more important objective. And as we get closer to this Herald spawn, we take a look at where the ultimates are right now and the cooldowns are right now. Deadly Flashless, still got a quarter of that timer left, but everybody on XL has everything else. They've got all of their ultis available to them. And actually it looks like XL just going to give this one up. Decide to go for that dragon and play for maybe a soul win condition.
This is actually a really nice play. So Deadly and Avian being on the top side means they can actually threaten Fnatic Rising and force them away. So they aren't able to take the Herald, and yet you see BTXL picking up the dragon. Fnatic do get that top lane tower, so they'll be rewarded with it, but it was so low anyway, it wasn't long for the world. And actually, the fact that the rest of the numbers are moving over, Fnatic unwilling to fight this one, and the Herald and the dragon both picked up by BTXL here, so a massive reward, and kind of getting away with murder there.
Yeah, that was crazy how much they got away with there. Now, Fnatic did at least get first turret blood for themselves, and all of that gold was put onto Bean. So he's finished up his Gale Force now, got himself a pretty significant lead over Deadly, but Deadly has been sitting on that Kraken Slayer for a fair amount of time as well. So Bean now got the Warhammer in his inventory on top of that Gale Force. So building towards that Essence Reaver. Meanwhile, the Leandri's onto Featherven. Hatrix hasn't actually finished up his yet, as he went for an extra blasting one for a little bit more just raw AP.
And the thing is now, I feel like there's no real pressure on BTXL. Dragon up for a while, Herald unavailable, and they have their last ult in their pocket, so they can use it if they want to. They're actually looking to actually throw it down in the top lane. Pride is starting to get pretty bulky, so it might be a bit of a trickier dive target with only 2 members. You can see Fnatic on the other side looking to pressure on this bot lane tower. It should be quicker for BTXL to take this, just having the Herald in pocket, but Fnatic are potentially looking for a Roma here.
Yeah, going to find him with all of the CC. Pops the World Ender, pops the flash, and Rux follows after him. Can't find the auto attack for the stun, and that is going to be a tower getting charged at by Pride onto Pride. As Pride now underneath the tower getting knocked up from the Rupture, getting feared. The CC is just too much as this Cho'Gath getting cooked. The Zap is going to connect. The Super Mega Death Rocket from Deadly finds the snipe as well. Fnatic don't find their kill, but they do find their tower. Meanwhile, XL take 2. The shockwave by Hatrix is going to dissuade Maxi from going any further.
Yeah, really nice execution there. Arome with a great flash over the wall to keep himself safe in his play, and then the movement speed from his ult allowed him to avoid the follow-up from Rux. Whereas on the other side, nothing Pride can really do. The chase down potential of the Hecarim makes it very hard to find a safe spot on the map. BTXL quickly able to pick up 2 towers on the back of that one and equalize compared to Fnatic Rising. But the big difference here is overall, we have the 2 dragons that favor BTXL and 2 kills onto Deadly, starting to ramp up pretty significantly. Still down on Bean thanks to that first tower gold, but Jinx in the late game is going to be a scary threat.
Yeah, getting pulling back that gold deficit I just talked about. It's only 200 now that separates Deadly from Bean. Deadly actually going in for that last whisper, recognizing that Fnatic do have a pretty scary front line, so I want to be able to cut through them as quick as possible with that Mortal Reminder. Or Lord Dom, sorry. Mortal Reminder's the health item. As Remy's going to take a lot of damage from Bean, although he does throw out a bit of the Gale Force action here. And Bean now getting hit by the Zap as Deadly. They're going to put a bit of damage in response. The feathers get pulled back, and that is enough to save Bean's life. He had to put in the heal, though, as well.
Bean just chilling, though, just handling the pressure coming out. Arome nearly going down to him, saved by the heal from Deadly. And then, I mean, the thing is, Bean's never really under that much threat, having the ult from Xayah. They are trying to force this tower now, though. I feel like at this point, you may just have to back off. And actually, Maxi's recalled, so there's no way you comfortably defend this one. Just another tower picked up for BTXL. Despite being sort of trying to smurf up the 1v2, the tower still goes down. It's still an advantage for BTXL. And Dragon now spawning in a minute 24. And XL still have the vision up in the area, so should be looking to secure this one. And realistically, it's kind of difficult for Fnatic to force their way in against this composition. If you're face checking into a rel, we've seen many times before how rough that can be.
20 minutes on the clock. Like you said, Vision and Dragon spawning up soon, and it is, well, I say Vision spawning up. Vision in favor of XL and Dragon spawning up soon is going to make this a little bit harder. And this is a Dragon that Fnatic realistically are going to want to fight for. Remember, XL already secured 2. Meaning this is a pretty important one. You don't really want XL getting onto Mountain Soul Point yet. You'll be able to buy yourself a little bit more space, a little bit more time. Deadly's going to pick himself up the red buff in preparation for this fight, and the Fnatic vision getting cleared out. As XL just moving through as this 3-man death ball. Hatrix and Deadly are going to get themselves control around the mid lane. Shove this wave in as Marcoon. Let's be somewhat careful. Rome's joined up as well as Maxi gets the bear stab off on to Marcoon. Just to slow him down from getting a charge off. They are jumping in. Rux gets a pole onto 2, but the 2 carries are untouched for the moment. Deadly free firing away as Pride gets himself a kill onto Advian. That's going to be 1 for Fnatic already, but Arome is doing so much work. There's the charge, there's the fear, the Featherstorm's been thrown out, and Marcoon has lost his life. Hatrix and Deadly zoned away as the shockwave lands onto 2. Arome gets the knock-up, and that should just be enough. The ult? Mega Death Rocket! Oh, so close! Hatrix flashes forwards and gets a kill onto Pride. Fnatic are playing with such low health bars, but there is no jungler available to XL right now, so this Dragon definitely in execution range for Fnatic, and they are going to be able to pick that one up as Rux actually flashes forward, gets flashed away as the Infernal Chains are going to be enough to slow him down and find that kill. Fnatic get the Dragon.
Oh, Baron being pinged out. The respawn's coming in pretty soon from Marcoon. I think they're backing away. Still pinging out. I don't think this is a great plan. TP's available on Pride. There's a ward just over the wall, and he does have Feast coming up pretty soon. This would be a bold play, but they're kind of banking on the fact that Fnatic Rising maybe would expect it. No, TP coming in already. They're prepared for this. They know this is to be expected.
Remember, Pride can execute it with the Feast.
Yeah,
already half health, though. It's going down very, very quickly here, thanks to Deadly. Now, Pride gets knocked up, gets Infernal Chains onto. That's the pickup they need. The Magnet Storm, the Shockwave, everything getting layered out here. Maxi is absolutely chunked, but Featherman looking for Advian. Advian will lose his life as Febby so close to going down. The Death Rocket goes between the goalposts, but it's still enough for Deadly to find the kill. Now looking to put the damage into Bean and Rux, firing away with those rockets, but Rux's ulti just keeping him a little bit too tanky for Deadly. XL find themselves 2 kills and only lose their support.
They're looking again. Okay, first time they baited a fight, they got what they wanted, but once more they're looking for this objective. Maxi's pretty fast and he's running down. Doesn't have the flash, but does have the blast cone and the smite. It's going down so quickly though, and the blast cone's now gone. No way for Max to get in.
They've brought Rux in already. He's lost his life. That's the engage down. Deadly now zoning Maxi away, but Maxi's just bolting towards him. The traps are layered. The zap's connecting. Maxi's getting chunked once again. Marcoon might almost die to the Baron. Able to just about survive it as Bean is trying to go man mode. He gets himself in, but he's taken down in response.
Reset.
The Baron's going to reset. And oh my lord, this game is absolutely explosive.
Absolute chaos there. BTXL baiting the Baron again and again, getting a bunch of kills on it, and then they were so close to finishing it. I thought the traps on Maxi would have been enough, but we get the replay of the fight first, and I think this was a bit botched coming out from the side of BTXL. They don't find a convincing engage onto the backline, and yet they still manage to do okay in this fight. You see it's a bit scattered. Marcoon comes in late, and he's 1v4 on the backline, but it's really Deadly and Hatrix doing so much work. Hatrix in particular, just consistently chunking people out with that QW combo throughout the fight. Manages to execute Pride here at the back end. And it's just like, even though Fnatic are looking healthy initially, they keep taking damage from this Orianna, and it's just enough to be able to get the Dragon, sorry. I can't believe how long, though, this fight into the Baron fight, into the following Baron fight was. It was just such chaos, and a beautiful flash here from Deadly to avoid the combo. It was close, and I feel like more than anything, these fights have shown a lot of individual expression of skill.
Yes, yes. This is what I wanted out of this game. I wanted to see these teams actually show us like a good team fight.
And this was just more chaos. Featherman overstepping a bit to try and get Advian there. But that's too long a replay. We've got more fighting coming in. Pride caught out.
Yeah, the shockwave's already been used, and he is forced to flash away as the Ignite. Thrown down by Advian. Bebby's just trying to hold this mid-wave. But XL haven't quite cleared out all of the vision. There's that cheeky ward just outside the pit, and Advian Sweeper not just about finding it. There it is.
BTXL in control and posturing for this one, but it's always risky when there's the likes of a Cho'Gath in the enemy team. It is kind of favorable because no flash available on the Cho'Gath or the Udyr, but engage coming in from Rux.
Yeah, they are looking for a kill already. Marcoon loses life. Maxi's just getting the bear slaps off. He's being annoying to the rest of XL. Here comes Rux
Great
onto
game.
Hatrix. Hatrix has to flash away from the Rupture. The gravity field's already been laid, and Rux is getting chunked out so hard. One last shot from Deadly is enough to find the kill as the Shockwave connects onto Febby. He's getting cooked by Deadly. He finds himself the double kill. He is excited. Beats pulling everything back. Deadly still chasing, still firing away onto these Fnatic members as the Super Mega Death Rocket continues the damage layering. Deadly's knocked up. Deadly is slowed down by the feathers. And XL just about clutching their way through that fight. It's a 2 for 2.
I mean, it's a favorable start for Fnatic Rising, but if you can't deal with Deadly, he's just such a threat. As soon as a kill goes down, he starts to get momentum, he starts to get rolling. I can see here, the engage is solid, but the follow-up isn't quite in sync. Pride doesn't get the knock-up before Hatrix flashes, and then Deadly's just able to freely DPS here. Beautiful shockwave from Hatrix as well, catches Febiven, and one of the biggest threats to this Jinx is the Victor. As soon as the Victor's down, Deadly can just run rampant, chunking them out, and being forced to ult to survive here. It does end up being an even trade off the back of this, but this was so close to Deadly just running away with this fight.
As we head back out of the replay and into the action, the third dragon for XL has been picked up. Deadly finished up a rapid fire cannon at the end of that fight as well. So 3 items on to this Jinx. A lot of extra range to work with those occasional rapid fire cannon procs. Means Deadly can actually play even more safe, even further away from the likes of Febby. And now probably looking to finish up that Infinity Edge from that pickaxe.
Yeah, and he is already just doing so much damage. He's such a threat. And the thing is, the range is so long. It's really hard for Bean ever to get up close to Deadly. You kind of need your frontliners to be able to deal with him. But realistically, Fnatic's comp isn't really that favorable for that. They want to be peeling back, but as soon as you start peeling back, Jinx is just hammering away at your frontline. With the Lord Dominix, she's shredding through them. There's also Hatrix, the Void Staff. And once you get that one kill, you get the momentum. Very difficult to sort of win the team fight. It's a lot of champions on BTXL's composition because it's not just the Jinx, but the Aatrox as well. Once you get that initial kill, gets the restart on his ultimate and can just keep charging forwards.
Now, it's Fnatic who've just cleared out all of this XL vision around the Baron pit. Thank you very much, Observer. XL have a ward in the chicken pit, and that's it. Fnatic, they've got a couple of pink wards down, a couple of flank wards. It's not dominant vision, but the Super Mega Death Rocket was fired out just a scout by Deadly to make sure this Baron wasn't getting snuck away.
It's actually crazy how much damage it does to neutral objectives now. There was a change not too long ago, and it's at the point now where you can hit the Baron for like 3,000, or like I've heard insane numbers like that, like ridiculous amounts, where it'll even beat a Cho'Gath smite if you hit it in the right situation. Obviously, you need to hit someone nearby for it to connect. It doesn't connect on the Baron itself, but yeah, it's pretty risky to actually do a Baron against a Jinx because of that. But ultimately, Fnatic are just trying to get some vision control. Keep BTXL at the Baron area. It's 3 minutes on that Dragon for Dragon Soul. And realistically, I don't think either team's necessarily going to make some huge play before then. It's going to come down to that Dragon fight.
We haven't actually really talked about the fact that Arome has a 2-level lead over Pride right now. Obviously, Pride is playing a frontline tank. That's kind of his role. But Arome, a really scary member of XL. Highest level in the game. Level 16, got all of the points in his World Ender. And he's looking to join up into this fight. Is Advian looking for that big combo? Rux may just look to jump over the wall, though, as he's going to Hex Flash in to Marcoon's face.
Oh, so
Traps
close.
get layered down, and now Advian and Hatrix looking for that big wombo combo. Rup's just going to land on a couple of members. There's the headbutt pole onto 2. The silence has landed, and that is Advian taken out already. Shockwave lands onto 2 members in return. Fnatic's health bars are chunked, and the Infernal Chains are going to pull Maxi back in. A massive Death Rocket by Deadly.
Deadly's rolling.
He's able to find himself a double kill. He is excited. He is taking out members left, right, and center. It's going to be a triple kill for Deadly. It's going to be an ace for XL, and Fnatic will lose the Baron.
Huge players coming out of BTXL there. The engage was there from Fnatic Rising, but ultimately they didn't get onto the backliners. They weren't able to connect with Deadly, and as soon as BTXL got rolling, they just stomped that fight. Deadly untouched on the backline. And we'll get the replay here. So the engage, it's on the frontliners. It's on your Hecarim and your Rel. You don't really care, even if the Rel instantly dies. And you can see they're trying to turn on a Rel. Maybe he's too tanky. And now this is where Fnatic have run out of tools. Big ult from Deadly chunks people out, and then he just starts hammering away. And Marcoon comes in with this beautiful ult to finish things off. And at this point, it just feels pretty doomed for for Fnatic Rising. Sorry, BTXL are stomping these fights.
And now, Markun on the hunt as we come out of the replay. Rux is going to stop him. But Deadly just able to free fire off. Infinity Edge finished up onto the Jinx. So that's 4 items on Deadly. He is well and truly in that scary territory. 50 seconds until the soul spawns up. Giving him a shield to work with and a bit of bonus resistances as well.
I feel like Fnatic Rising aren't going to find success until they get CC onto these carries. If Deadly is continuing to go unchecked in these fights, they're going to lose. And the thing is, all these engages coming out from Fnatic Rising are onto the frontliners. And BTXL just don't care. Kill Rel, kill Advin. No, they really aren't bothered, but this might be it.
Oh,
Flash
Deadly
comes out, and there you go.
Flash and the rocket!
Ooh.
Almost finds the kill. Not quite enough, as here comes Pride, here comes the charge, here comes the shockwave. They're keeping Deadly alive. He gets chunked out by Pride's ulti, but that doesn't matter to him. He takes him down.
There's the attempt, and at least they've learned their mistake. They try and get a Deadly, but Deadly just outplaying both Pride and Rux there, able to dodge away, and he is just decimating anyone who comes near him. Base now in shambles for Fnatic Rising, and they're looking towards that mid lane inhibitor.
For the bot lane down and the mid lane down, this game's going to get even harder for Fnatic to hold on to. 22 seconds until Pride's up, so I don't think XL are going to risk trying to close the game out here. Probably just going to look to try and pick up this dragon and move away. But you're seeing how much damage Deadly's already doing. One single auto attack, really chunking out Maxi.
He has Kraken Slayer and Lord Dominic's. No one is tanky against him, and now they're looking for the play.
Yeah, Rome onto that flank, looking for Rux. Rux does get the knock up, but the Infernal Chains will pull him back in. Markun able to find the kill. Deadly doesn't get an assist, though. No excited for him, so he can't chase for anything else.
Yeah, I mean, with the Baron buff still available, they were trying to fish for some picks there, potentially end the game off it. Taking Rux isn't quite enough just alone. There's still a lot of wave clear for the rest of Fnatic Rising. So instead, they will turn on to pick up that dragon. And this is kind of just a nail in the coffin. That extra shield onto these squishy backliners is going to make things even more difficult for Fnatic Rising. Deadly just got even safer. He's picked up a stopwatch, which whenever I see that, I'm like, right, next fight likely to be the last. And I think that's what's being indicated. We've also got a stopwatch from Markun. And that's the thing, is now Deadly may be flashless, but having that extra safety net is going to make it extremely difficult for Fnatic Rising to win this fight. They need a miracle. They're 9,000 gold down in this game. And even when things are closer, team fights weren't really going their way.
Baron spawning up in 2 minutes 30 seconds. So for now, I think it's just a matter of XL keeping the pressure up on the map. I mean, if they crack open this last turret, they actually just don't need Baron to close the game, I think, at that point. 3 inhibitors, you don't even need Baron. There's enough supers, there's enough waves to deal with. And Febby, sure, has a lot of wave clear, same for Bean, but you are going to struggle versus that many super minions crashing into your face. As super minions are crashing into the base on both the bot and the mid side, and Arome's just escorting the waves in as well. Just giving XL the time to step up to this tower. But the waves aren't perfectly synced. That's the problem they got at the moment.
Struggling to see it. I'm struggling to see it for Fnatic Rising. Deadly now level 16. And the thing is, even if they find the engage, he has the stopwatch. And there's still Hatrix, who is such a huge threat. The shockwave being a potential massive issue if you engage too heavily. XL starting to threaten now.
There we go, I like that. They sink the waves this time as the charge actually goes through free. Rux jumps in, and that's going to be the shutdown onto the Orianna. Hatrix has lost his dive. Markun has to stopwatch underneath everything as the rupture hits onto Avian. Deadly, though, still able to free fire. Maxi's going to flash. Maxi's going to jump in. There's the Magnet Storm. Deadly stopping through everything, dodging away on all of the CC, on all of the damage, and Featherman is just getting forced away. Deadly is excited. Featherman and Bean are the only 2 remaining, as Markun will lose his life to Featherman. Only 2 members of Fnatic stand, but only 2 members of XL stand as well. Deadly isn't even interested in the kills yet. Gonna go for the tower, gonna find himself the kill. Deadly having an absolute smurfer of a game number 1 in this series. 34 minutes on the clock. And XL will take game number 1 in this series.
Even with Fnatic Rising killing Hatrix off, no flash use, no shockwave use, no stopwatch, you take out one of the carries, it's still not enough. Deadly playing that one perfectly, evading the pressure from the rest of the team, able to clean up, and a convincing game one coming out from BTXL. I think they came out ahead in draft and they were executing better in game.
I do think that we had a very good game for Fnatic as well. Sure, they lost, but they still showed us a lot of signs of life. It eventually just snowballed to the point where that team fighting into a Jinx that strong was nigh impossible. But for the most part, I think Fnatic can be happy that they didn't just completely fall over in that game. That was still a competitive game right up until I think once that Baron fell, that was when the kind of competitive side of the game kind of fell away from Fnatic. But overall, we still had a pretty close game between these two. And I think that is a good sign. That means we are in for a series. The question is can XL finally beat Fnatic in a finals? They've not been able to do it yet. We'll find out more after this break. When we're back, we'll have the analyst test to break this game down. See you in a moment.
Well, welcome back, everybody. XL off to a brilliant start here, and Orcs, you were casting the game. We unfortunately, Gulborg is still just running late. I mean, look, that guy clearly doesn't take his work seriously, right? But Orcs, I do want to quickly jump to you before I jump to Trouble. That was relatively strong. Did you really feel like XL were in control for the whole thing, or do you think that they just had some moments where they took over?
I feel like in the early game, even leaning a little bit into the mid game, Fnatic was still very competitive. There were a lot of moments like the fights were scrappy. There was objectives being traded back and forth. XL felt like they had a bit of an edge. That really started to snowball when they went for that Baron play, when they sort of had the setup for it. And then just the later game team fights, it felt like there was no answer to Deadly, and he was just running amok and just devastating Fnatic Rising.
And that's the hard truth. When you see so much engage coming at you, you will naturally pick a kiting composition. But if you pick a kiting composition, there is no way you are going to reach the backline. This is why I'm like really wondering right here, why do you keep allowing Advian on the Rel? This is literally what he beat you with on that best of 3 series on the upper bracket literally last week. And you allow him to take it again. And not only that, you've got the audacity to think that you counterpicked him with an Alisa. Rux is clearly a very, very strong Gragas. I would have rather seen him play on that. I would have rather seen a tool at least that can reach the backline, something like a Cask that you can misposition the Jinx. The only effort I saw there of trying to get Jinx, trying to kill her, was Pride. He had to flash in, he had to get the knockup, and that's extremely hard to do when you've got a Rel in your face, when you've got the Arena Shockwave in your face. It was literally a hard against comp versus a kiting comp. Harder Gates had a surprise in there at the back, and that was the Jinx, and no one could reach them.
Yeah, I mean, I think I completely agree, and I think it kind of raises some questions because they came out with the Udyr, and I feel like if you're taking the Udyr, you have to have so much momentum in the early game, and he was like marginally ahead, and that was kind of it. And I feel like when it gets to late game, would I rather have an Udyr or Hecarim any day? And it kind of it spoke for the whole composition of XL came out so much stronger in the late game. And the thing is, unless you can convincingly bring out a composition who can destroy XL in the early game, which I think is a hard task, I think you should just be looking better to how your composition is going to function in those team fights, because that's the main point where Fnatic missed the mark, is realistically they just weren't able to handle those team fights against XL.
And I think this was the first fight that I've seen Makoon get outperformed in the early game. I think Maxi had a very clever path in with the first gank in the mid lane, level 3, I think, or level 4, onto Hatrix, getting his flash, then getting his teleport, but they were never able to capitalize on that. So yes, there were pressure points, and they were the correct pressure points, because we talked about Fnatic and their mid lane pressure. This is where they want to have it. This is where they want to dominate to win the game, to allow Maxi to be around the map. And they did manage to do it. They just kind of never returned to it, because BTXL had the answer on that straight away, and it felt like it took a little bit for BTXL to click into the game, but that has to do with the fact that Fnatic played yesterday. They played a full-on 4-game series against Nordavin. They're warmed up, they're ready to go, and BTXL, it looked like they're warmed up as well, but it only took them half a game. And if a team like that only takes half a game to warm up, what are they going to bring in game 2?
Well, that's the question that I have. Obviously Fnatic needs to change something up here. What was it, do you think, that was a real sore point for Fnatic? Do you think them not taking Rel was an odd choice? What do you think that they need to switch up coming into this second draft? Now, they are on blue side, so they will have that difference in side selection. But there is anything that you'd like to see in terms of compositional differences?
Do you want to take this, Trouble, or should I?
Go for it.
I think for me, it's like, what lane are you realistically playing through? It's like top lane, we saw Pride. He was doing okay in the early game, but he's a Cho'Gath, he's not playing through that. Bot lane, you're actually in a rough matchup because the Jinx have Radiant's Desire. The only lane that they could really play through was mid lane, but it's 2 control mages. Feb haven't got a 10 CS lead. Wow, cool. No one cares. I feel like you need a stronger early lane to play through, and then you need a better identity when it comes to those team fights.
100% agree. I just wanted to really quickly say here that it felt like they just had no plan. They were playing in BTXL's hands, because they knew the Caitlyn was open, they knew the Jinx was open, but they had to lock in the Xayah, because Orcs mentioned that with so much to see, with so much engage coming at you, you need to lock in an ADC that will survive all that engage. And even though, yes, it did have all the disengage and the Gale Force and the items, and the Summoners just couldn't get away, but this is what I want to showcase right here, how absolutely freaking strong the Jinx was in that composition. So I'm gonna cue myself on the drawing board. Okay, I need to actually load myself on the drawing board. There we go. All right, so this is the Baron fight that started it all. First of all, Wait a minute. There we go. This is the fight that started it all. So if you can see here, Rux actually had a really good position right here on the map, and he engaged a little bit too soon, because as you can see, the whole of BTXL are still here. They haven't moved in to try and contest, and now he is all the way into BTXL's hands trying to get the engage, which he is actually, if you see here, he's going to disengage from, because he doesn't want to take that chance. Now here is where the magic happens, because Fnatic are doing the Baron, and right here is where you see the opening, because Rom is in the front line, the 2 tanks are in the front line, and this guy is the smite holder for BTXL. So if you manage to take him down, then props to you. And this is where Fnatic will pull the trigger to try and get them. A beautiful double headbutt pulverize coming in from Rux, and they instantly delete Advian on the Rel. Now this shockwave right here was beautiful onto Rux and Pride, because it allowed Orome to peel back. And then this is where the false sense of security comes, because Advin is dead, right? There's no peel happening for Deadly, and Max sees the opportunity to try and get the BTXL ADC. He pushes in too far forward, and a beautiful chain by Rome pulls him back. Jinx gets excited, Deadly gets excited because he knows that he is winning that team fight. Marcoon, he's an absolute freaking psychopath, because he held his ultimate until that point whilst the entire team fight was going down, and managed to dive into the backline. I don't know who holds Hecarim ultimate for that long in a tense fight like this, but apparently he does, and honestly, probably Excel, because they played this beautifully.
Absolute, I think steel trigger fingers there from from Marcoon in that fight. He was waiting for the perfect moment.
I think for me, it just shows how broken like current tank Hecarim is, because like old Hecarim, it's like you get engaged on, it's like you have to all out, you die. Now it's like, oh, I'm engaged on, whatever, I'll tank all this.
I'll walk out.
Yeah, and then you come back in and you still don't die. It's broken.
Well, look, guys, that is the first game in the series. XL take it 1-0 to begin with. Of course, it was, as we know from the last time these two teams met, it's not over yet. We have plenty of games to go, and obviously Fnatic are very easily able to bounce back in a series versus XL. And XL have been in a 2-0 up in a best-of-5 scenario before against XL, and against the Fnatic, and still managed to lose the series in a reverse sweep.
Yes,
so,
by the way.
I know. I'm just saying it's facts. Let's go to a quick break. When we're back, we'll have our second game. Flash giveaway. It's flash giveaway time. You can go and get involved and get yourself some RP right now. It's quick giveaway over on the NLC LOL Twitter channel. You can go and find yourself a chance to get 5,725 Riot points and another one for your duo. Just make sure you retweet and follow to enter. Go, 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 go. Free RP. Go, 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 go. There we go. That's my bit done. I did
That's
the
what
flash
Gulbok
giveaway
is doing
correctly.
right now. That's why he's not at the desk.
I really wanted to find an epic voice on my mixer, but I just ended up going with the robot voice, which didn't really work. Anyway,
You could do the Foxtrot voice.
oh, I could do the Foxtrot voice. Okay, ready?
Ready.
All right, lads, here we go. So we got this draft coming up, and it's Fnatic Rising versus BTXL. Second game. Oh, it's Hecarim banned, isn't it? All right, nice.
It actually sounds like Foxtrot. It's just inhaled some helium.
I need to find an epic voice here. They've got some presets on it, and I just really want find an epic voiceover one, but I need to sort it out.
Anyone said tanks are broken? Hecarim out of the picture, of course. Sion being banned from the side of BTXL tells me that they don't want to go for the noodle fight, and Sion is actually extremely strong in a 2 versus 1 scenario as well. Want to get rid of the cheese, and I don't think I agree with the Orianna ban right here, because I believe, yes, the ball was a big problem because it was zoning them a lot, but Hatrix was very hard punished in the early game. I think with a different setup, they could very well shut him down. So I really want to see what's in the minds of Fnatic Rising.
I still left the Tristana open, which you did see banned way last time. The other bans were Renekton and Gnar. So we could see Fnatic pick one of those up. And in terms of the Gnar, and then Arome could answer the Renekton, although it doesn't necessarily need to. I feel like he's someone who's more willing to take other picks. Lilia was something else that was banned away against Markoon. So with Hecarim and Udyr on being down, it puts Lilia on a higher priority. And I think Lilia Trist, it's one of those situations where you come to game 2 and teams are like, okay, we lost against this, let's ban this. But then you leave open the things that you initially banned. And, Gnar, Lilia, and Tristana all banned away game 1, now left open.
And it's so crazy because Tristana is a flex here. If Hatrix wants to take it in the mid lane, it's extremely strong with Lilia as well. If she lands the sleep, then Samara blows up and dies, but they can take it down bot lane. Rel is still open for AdVN. I don't think Fnatic Rising will be picking it here. They don't necessarily favor it too much.
That's an early jinx, Trouble. That's an early jinx.
I think it pretty much works the same with Tristana. It's just the point that Jinx has to use the mana to have the Tristana passive from the E. So it works both ways. Whoever walks too close to the wave manages to get punished. Tristana is not necessarily a very high range ADC at the start of the game, so she will suffer to the Jinx rockets, but Jinx is going to have to use it a lot. And I think Fnatic Rising are following the BTXL approach right here with the mid laner that protects the Jinx and having some engage with the Gnar. They're going to have to find some hard engage tools though in their kit for the rest of the map, like something maybe like a Gragas, like an Alistar, and a very tanky jungle.
See, the thing I have is I can understand this Jinx the Nile pick, but the reason the Jinx worked so well in the last game was context. It was so good with BTXL's composition, and there was nothing on Fnatic Rising's composition to handle it. This is a very early Jinx pick. We haven't seen things develop through, and BTXL just pick up the Malphite. So instantly, this is causing issues with that Jinx. You pick in the first rotation, you now have the Rock who's just going to absolutely slam into you, and Bean is going to have a really rough time.
I'm just wondering right here, because they have the Lily in the jungle, if Hatrix wants to go for something like a Yone or a Yasuo that reaches the backline, that can get onto Jinx together with the Malphite, that Tristana can dive into the backline. There's so many tools you can use for AD mid laners right here, which is crazy. Yes, you can do it with Tristana, but having another backline diver onto Jinx, onto Azir is going to be extremely useful for the side of BTXL.
I mean, even Samira Rel are still open if BTXL want to take that, and then you put Trist mid, and then
there's no way they leave Rel open again, right, Ox? There's no way.
I mean,
there's no way, right?
Apparently,
right?
They're fine with that one being left open, and you're talking about delivery systems. You have Malphite, who's you put the sort of attract repel on him, and it's just instant follow up on the ult with CC. I feel like you could probably just take Rel here, potentially keep the Tristana open as a flex for now, and see what comes in for the rest of Fnac's composition.
Oh my god, this is so brutal.
Mid.
That works too.
That's doomed
is
for
so
Jinx. It's
brutal.
doomed. It's giga doomed for Jinx.
They knew that they wanted someone to dive the backline and very well ban the Yone out of the picture and the Lucian because he synergizes very well with the Lilia. And they're like, what else do we have that can dive the backline? Yasuo. Yeah, sure. Yasuo is a really easy diver down the backline, but he does suffer a lot in the mid lane and in the early game. And now they're having both the Malphite and both the Nocturne diving in at the same time. And we still haven't seen support. Still rail is open. They're picking a Scanner that has to walk directly at you. You walk directly at them, but they're diving your backline, mate. I'm just loving the BTXL composition.
I feel like,
Caladan, come on.
Like one pick left, and it's like, right.
It's doomed.
I guess,
really? Okay,
I think it makes sense. I think if you let BTXL take Rel, we'll go to game 3. I think denying it works, and it also does provide an element of peel, but it's still, there's so much dive threat on the side of BTXL. It's looking pretty rough, and Adrian still has a lot of options open and available to sort of pick here. Nautilus.
This is brutal.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think Fnatic Rising very much need to sort of keep their backline safe, but it's going to be such a hard task this game. If they do manage to keep them alive, if Bean and Febiven play out of the mines, then sure, they should be able to clean up a fight, but those are massive ifs, those are massive buts.
See, we saw yesterday that Nocturne will always have the pressure versus the Azir in the early game. He clears the mid wave extremely quickly with his Q and then his cleave passive, so that's one thing. Then bot lane, you go down to Tristana. Tristana doesn't have to use any mana to push the wave. It's literally in her E passive, so she will push the wave much faster. Then you go up to the top lane. Nar cannot touch Malphite. He's just gonna go full armor. He only has to go full armor because he's scared of the Jinx, who he's gonna be diving, and the Gnar. And then you go to the other side, everything is point click for BDXL. Nothing can miss. Because if you get the point click on the Nautilus ult, Jinx is gonna get blown up at the same place. She cannot flash while she's being blown up by the Nautilus ult, which means the Malphite ult will land, which means Nocturne will just dive in, which means Darkness is gonna go down, which means you lose Tristana off of your vision. So I don't know where this BDXL draft came from, but I am extremely excited to see it work.
Well, I think we're about done on the desk here.
You're not going to say you agree, Dan? Hello?
I do agree, but I was waiting until Casterdan was going to come in and he could say he agrees.
I'm going to...
Shut up, Excandro. It's us time now. We get to talk. Hello.
I agree with the desk statements. I think that's really insightful.
Yeah, I completely agree with the desk actually as well. Apart from that Orcs guy, I'm not sure about him. But yeah, honestly, XL, that is a scary comp. That is a terrifying comp to play a champion like Jinx into. Now, it's not like Fnatic don't have tools. Let's not completely write this off. It's not like, you know, if Bean and Febiven, like you said, play these team fights out like perfectly, once you start to get excited on the Jinx, you get harder to kind of pin down, and, you know, providing you don't get completely destroyed by the back of a depth charge from Advian, there is still room for Fnatic. But it's more about they have to execute these fights perfectly, and all XL realistically have to do is just press their R key. That's basically the core of this team comp.
Yeah, I think if we're looking at Fnatic and what they can potentially do, I think we're looking at the windows sort of in the laning phase. I think, you know, Jinx's range advantage over Deadly Nadvian, as well as the fact that Rux sort of comes online at level 1, you can use that to sort of find priority. Azir as well will have that level 1 shove if he's able just to throw down his soldiers and spam auto attack the wave. And top lane as well, you're gonna have priority in that lane. So I need to see Maxi taking over the game from the early levels. I need to see him finding that momentum pre-6, because once you hit 6, I think things get problematic when you have the threat of a Malphite TPing in, of Hat-Tricks just showing up. So I want to see Fnatic Rising get rolling a little bit early, get Maxi into a good spot, get him his level 6 early, and then you can start making plays. And if you chain those together, a gold lead can mean Fnatic win this game out. But I think if they go even into the mid game, they're going to have a hard time.
Yeah, there is nothing more to expand upon that. So it's now just a matter of watching how Fnatic play out in this early game. I'm curious about the Azir versus Nocturne matchup. We did have a Nocturne mid yesterday, and I believe it was into an Azir. Was it Orianna? I can't remember who they played it into.
It wasn't into an Azir.
It was into an Azir. I believe it was okay. It had a pretty decent matchup. You, obviously, because of that passive, you get that big AoE cleave onto the wave. You got your Q. So you actually do shove the wave pretty well and kind of keep up with the Azir. Now, obviously, Hat-Tricks will lose a lot of health compared to Febiven in this matchup. Just
I mean, in
because
fairness, he has a lot
to get
of
into the wave.
He has a lot of sustain. He has a lot of pots, and it seemed like there Febiven was focused on harassing the Nocturne instead of hitting the wave, and so it just ended up getting shoved in. And now Hatrix can move over, put a ward down, and yeah, so not really even finding priority in the mid lane. BTXL looking pretty positive.
Yeah, he's going to be equal in farm, if not even up a little bit over Febiven. Just shoves the lane, roams out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like because Febiven, all he's doing is hitting Hatrix. He's not really hitting the wave.
Oh, hold on.
He's coming in.
Deadly actually going to get stunned up for the moment, and that's Bean using the flash and the heal, but now Rux is getting chased onto that trap onto Deadly. Probably life-saving for someone there, or at least, actually all the summoners were down, so definitely life-saving for Fnatic there. Fnatic did burn their flash and ignite from Advian though.
Things are already looking pretty bad. Hatrix fine in the mid lane, sustaining through anything Febiven throws at him. Bot lane, we've just lost summoners, all summoners for Fnatic Rising's bot lane. And that was where they were finding priority. It's really only top lane, and you're playing into a Malphite, it just doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, Malphite is a champion who just needs to hit 6, especially in this comp. So you expect to go down a little bit in this lane. Versus the Gnar who's going to lane bully you. Febby is doing a lot to Hatrix here, able to spell shield some of this as the Fear's going to connect, and Hatrix just jumping in forwards, almost able to find that first blood, but not able to as Maxi forces Hatrix to flash. His health bar is so low. Meanwhile, Deadly finds first blood. Rux is getting chunked out as well. Deadly just jumps in onto his head. Beautiful tower tank in there from Advian. It's a double kill in the bot lane for XL.
Yeah, that is so doomed, honestly. Getting double killed by Tristana this early is extremely rough. Deadly now really fed, being able to reset and pick up a huge item advantage, getting the Berserker Greaves here. Febiven not having a fun time mid either. They didn't manage to get the kill on a Hatrix, and he is now flashless. May cause an issue when he hits that level 6 point. But I feel like they're not bouncing back.
Hatrix is also flashless, to keep that in mind as well. XL did burn the last 2 summoner spells they had in the bot lane to find that double kill, but I think you're going to be okay trading those 2 on Deadly to secure that. Got himself the Berserker's Greaves on this base, while Bean has a single longsword and a refillable pot off the back of that rescore. So pretty nice stuff there for XL. As the gold lead 700 right now as we crest into that 5-minute mark. The Cloud Drake is going to be spawning up. With the crab down though, XL do have a bit of vision around the area. It is about to despawn though, so they lose a bit of that vision. The Hatrix honestly just having so much pressure in this lane. A 41 CS to 28.
Yeah, it's a pretty big diff, honestly, to have this much of an advantage early. And this is something that, we saw Fnatic struggle against into Nordavind. The game they lost was against the Nocturne mid. And Febiven even said in his interview that he found like it was a difficult lane to go into as the Azir. And we're seeing that repeated here.
Oh, that Swirl Seed almost connecting. Obviously, Marku level 5, so wouldn't have been able to put him to sleep. Curious to see what XL look to do from here.
Hatrix has all. I mean, they're just dead. They're just dead here.
It's a level 3 Bean. It's a level 3 Rux. Maxi trying to be proactive and see if he can be here in time, but XL, they don't even care. They're just giving this one away. Here comes the hook. Here comes the dive. Everything being layered onto. Advian will lose his life to the tower shots, and now Hatrix also taken down. So it's a 2 for 2 so far, but the double kill is onto Maxi. Markoon very, very low, and Deadly going to get stunned up and shuffled back. Fnatic may have just turned this one around, but Deadly able to jump away to safety. Flashless, though, and Deadly able to get out a 2 for 2 at the end of the day.
Yeah, so a 2 for 2 there, and you're thinking, surely that's good for Fnatic Rising. That play looked so doomed. But Maxi gets the 2 kills. Not the best target to get it. And critically, Bean misses out on so much there. Deadly able to pick up even more experience, was able to shove the wave in, and Bean misses out on a turn. He's now going mid lane to farm up. Despite it being an even trade, this still favors BTXL.
Coming off a really good performance yesterday on Bean as well. Having a very rough start to this finals. There's Pride getting a lot of attention put into him here. The XL ganking machine is oiled up. And Arome is going to find himself a kill onto that Gnar on the top side. Remember, if you haven't followed these two teams since they have joined, XL have never beaten Fnatic in a finals as we head into the replay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty hard commit, and actually a lot of time is bought here thanks to the presence of Maxi. The stun coming in actually forces 2 members to go down, and so it ends up being an even trade. Maybe if they've got the 2 exit kills here, if Maxi was able to finish off Marcoon and Deadly died, I mean, for sure that would have been worth for the side of Fnatic Rising. But Deadly being able to jump away, Marcoon getting out, and critically just that huge wave that they're catching being missed out by Bean really hurts the side of Fnatic Rising. And Featherman joins late, no assists, no kills. Those are the members you want getting the gold, and they aren't able to pick up anything. At least the consolation prize is Maxi is up compared to Marcoon and has that level 6 available. But it's still so difficult to make plays because you have hat-tricks with the Paranoia coming up soon, and it's got such a long range. If you go for a play and he's left mid lane, he's going to be there.
Yeah, and it's coming up, like you said, pretty soon, as the team are probably looking to start up the Dragon XL in the area, getting some vision down. Marcoon's going to start this one up. Fnatic, though, are going to make a response play. They're going to take the Crab in response, or the Rift Herald. Bean's actually the one to pick it up. That is, I am starved of gold and resources right now. Please let me get as much as possible.
I mean, they want the plates here.
Rome doesn't have ulti.
Something to factor in is they may kill a Rome here with the ultimate, which is obviously a nice influx of gold. But this is split gold between 4 members. And on the other side of the map, we see BTXL giving solo gold to the Tristana. Deadly just hammering with his tower, and he's getting all of this. He's already 1,000 gold up on Bean.
I think Rux is too close to his tower.
Yeah, I'd like to see them move away. Yeah, and give it all to Bean in this situation. Let him get the influx, and he should be able to catch up. He's now 300 down, but Deadly's still taking plates.
And Tristana's fine. Tristana is so good at taking these towers. Charge is going to come out from the top side of the map. No one's going to be able to stop that, but the tower itself should survive. Yeah, it'll be fine. Deadly just continue to hammer away. Sure, Bean did just get a good injection of gold, but Bean is still also finding a fair amount of gold for himself as able to chunk out that tower, even with all the extra resistances. So Deadly should be able to find himself some tower gold here momentarily.
They won't be able to finish it off with Bean coming in. So overall, positive play for Fnatic Rising. They managed to get Bean back in the game. No longer as significantly far behind as before. Still down a bit, but considering how awful things were before, that Herald play, very favorable for them. They did lose out on the Dragon though, but ultimately, that's not their biggest concern right now. The biggest concern is dealing with this gold advantage that BTXL had. Now, Featherman can just dash away from that one.
It's going to get feared, but the dash came through just in time to keep him A-okay. But Paranoia is now up. The Lilting Lullaby is now up. I mean, once Avian hits 6, I genuinely think Bean just dies.
Yes, summoners, so potentially there's a window where you can buy time, but definitely does make things difficult. I haven't seen a Paranoia since the first one, and that's the kind of thing that I look for when there's nothing. Oh, Maxi.
You might be seeing it any moment now as Maxi getting jumped onto. Marcoon is just pulled closer to Rux. Here comes the Lilting Lullaby. The traps are on, and Rux actually able to escape for now, but he gets hit by another Swirl Seed, and the CC is enough. Deadly finds himself another double kill. 4-0-2 on this Tristana. And
just when we're talking about Fnatic Rising making up the difference in AD carries, 2 kills on Tristana. BTXL looking for another here.
Yeah, he's teleporting in. He's put that Paranoia. He's going to look to jump in onto that Gnar. Pride taken out by Rome. Probably not the person they wanted to find that kill, but they'll take it either way. And this tower will crumble as Deadly just makes sure most of this wave dies just to deny Bean even more gold.
But I mean, I think that's a crazy thing. They made that bot lane play without even having hat-tricks there. Also, you a reply though from Fnatic Rising.
Yeah, Deadly getting caught out a little bit as he gets shuffled back. Deadly's trying to get the damage off. Can reset the hop in time. Can he do it? Yes, he can. Jumping into Febi's face. Deadly finds the kill. Jumps away. The Magnustorm. The shutdowns onto Rux. Not the person you need to find that kill. And Advian will CC the other 2 to make sure he gets away.
That is devastating. We see 2 massively favorable plays for XL, and then the reply. Feb even gets so...
Oh no, Bean. Great Great spell shield by Hatrix not to get caught by the traps to continue that. And he has so much CDR. He's just constantly throwing Qs into Bean's face.
Febiven dying to Deadly, giving him another kill, and then the shutdown going to Rux is like worst case scenario. This is that top lane play. Again, didn't need the paranoia bot, so you're able to make a play on the top side, give some reprieve to Rome, get some gold back in his pocket. Then this bot lane play, it's ambitious. You don't have the ult from Skarner. Maxi kind of needed that to lock Deadly down. Also, Advien doing a great job appealing. And the burst from the Tristana just already so huge. Deadly gets a kill. It's not 300 gold to him. And then this shutdown, 700 gold. It just really doesn't mean much when it's on your rel. It's not going to be that much of a factor when it comes to team fights. And now we're going to see a situation where this Tristana is even further ahead. I'd like to see the gold, because I feel like now it's going to be, again, 1,400 gold lead for Deadly. This Jinx just not paying off. 2-level deficit as well.
At least they denied Deadly that plate for now, but he is going to take this tower down any moment. Meanwhile, Hatrix getting jumped into. Bean going to miss the rocket, but that is going to be Febby losing his life. So 1-for-1, both of the mids do lose their life, but Deadly ultimately found that final plate just before the tower respawn. Lost those plates, so does get himself a little bit more gold. Narome.
Yeah, he's now 1,700 gold ahead for Deadly, despite the fact that Beam was there in that mid lane play.
There is no Impale, but there's so much CC. Arome about to get flash as well, just ults out to safety. And yeah, you forced the Malphite ult, but...
Honestly, I think a bit too much CC was thrown down before he ulted, and in the end, Arome just gets away. Wow, you burnt Malphite ult. I don't think BTXL really care that much about that one. Big topside lean as well means there's potentially an opening for them to go for this dragon if they want. Secure their second, but they're not really forced to do anything right now. BTXL are feeling comfortable heading into this mid game. Deadly, incredibly strong on this Tristan and able just to hammer out this tower.
Yeah, he gets a couple of shots onto that charge. Ocean Drake spawning up. It looks like Fnatic may just trade this out for the Rift Herald unless XL take this nice and quick and just rotate back over. Paranoia is back up for Hatrix. Marcoon's got the lilting lullaby. Arome will not have the ulti for him in time, but still a lot of tools for XL to work with, and it really feels like Fnatic struggling in this game too, really hard.
Yeah, and there's a 2,500 gold deficit, and bear in mind, 700 gold from that shutdown went to Rux. So, and again, that gold's not valueless, but it's not very relevant at all. So this is almost like a 3,000 gold lead off the back of that.
Febby. There's a spooky ghost hunting him. Got the stride breaker.
Makes it tricky. Yeah, and Febby's just going to be able to defend. But it's still a threat. And we've seen games yesterday where Febby was able to hold himself in the side lane against the likes of Kibros' Quinn. But against a Nocturne, it's a different beast. There's always that threat of the engage of the kill pressure. And now BTXL looking for the kill.
Yeah, they are. Pride, he's taking a nap. We've seen this one before. It's the disrespect smite as well from Marcoon.
Pretty simple. Pretty easy going. The critical thing is they CC'd him before he even got to Mega and killed him out the CC. So just no chance for Pride to turn that one around. Engage coming in.
I was a little optimistic by Hatrix. He's going to get hard CC, but he's got the fear run. Deadly jumps over the wall. The Magnet Storm's going to connect onto one, but it's not going to be quite enough. As Bean getting chased into. Here comes Febby. Here comes the hook. The shuffle back. Febiven finds himself one.
Deadly's out.
Deadly hops over the wall. Bean is taken out by Deadly in the meantime as Advien flashes over the wall. It's a 1-for-1 as XL were outnumbered. Meanwhile, Marcoon gets himself one big crab.
They get top tower. They get Scuttle. And they go 1-for-1 in that fight, which... that was a kind of in fight, I'm just going to say it. That was kind of in. Seven came in, nearly made the hero play, and still they get out, only losing one member. I mean, it just feels like any play Fnatic go for, just they're destined to lose out on it. And I'll completely agree with you. This is overzealous. Advien and Deadly win in range. They don't really have the follow-up yet onto Bean, and he's able to buy a lot of time with the CC from his carries. And it looks like starting to turn around with the ult here. The Nautilus ult does a great job to stop the Jinx from ramping up. But this ult from Febiven, maybe it's the wrong direction. Maybe you ult Deadly in the other direction, and that's a guaranteed kill. Ulted him towards the wall. Bit questionable, but either way, a little bit of misexecution, and BTXL managed to trade evenly in that fight. Then on top of that, they got the Herald, they got top tower, they throw down the Herald mid and get mid tower. It's still just absolutely winning for XL.
was the red buff as well from Deadly, which was enough to fry Bean and find the kill.
It's like even when they int, they come out ahead. That's when you know things are doomed.
That's when you know you're
2K
behind.
gold lead between 80 carries.
Oh my lord. We're 17 minutes in as well. That is massive.
I think Deadly heard me when I said Bean has looked like the best 80 carry in the league.
Deadly here with
Wasn't
something
happy
to
about the
prove.
statement.
To be fair, XL have something to prove here. They really have. They have not beaten Fnatic once.
And Deadly in particular, he's one of he is one of the longest standing members off this roster at the moment for XL.
Yeah.
He's felt the pain of losing to Fnatic Rising more than
Final
once.
after final, XL have lost, and XL are looking to go for the fight. Already they're jumping in, and Deadly able to find himself yet another kill. Everybody's going to take a quick nap though on the side of Fnatic. That's going to be enough to send them packing. XL going for that tower dive, find themselves a cheeky kill. They're going to walk away happy with that one as here comes Hatrix, gets slammed into the wall. He loses so much health. Hatrix is he's eager to press his Arky.
But here's the problem, you know, that play goes wrong. Pride disengages it perfectly. Febiven dodges away. But the BTXL don't lose anything. They lose Paranoia full. It's going to be up. It's already a quarter way the cooldown is done. They don't actually lose anything. And now Deadly, he's fishing for Bean here. I think he's quite going to go for this one. Yeah, he was thinking if Bean walked up mid, he would go for the kill. But Bean's heading towards the red buff. And now has Rux with him, so he won't bother. But yeah, I mean, it's just the fact that BTXL, even when they mis-execute on their plays, all they're losing is their cooldowns. They're not getting punished for it.
And big thing to note, this gold lead means that they can get their early QSSs and not really feel the sting of it in the gold tax. 3 QSSs now picked up. Marcoon, Hatrix, and Deadly all had the ability to cleanse that. And I don't think you want to ult Arome. I don't think you want to ult Advian. I might be proven wrong here, though, as Arome getting collapsed onto by 5 members. Here's the Impale, but he's just tanking it all. Ults away to safety. Didn't want to turn that one around as XL was
You said they don't want to ult Arome, and when you're left with no other option, they do it, but...
He loses a quarter of his health. That's how dire it is. 5 members hammering on the tank, and he just loses a quarter health.
And the thing is, a lot of people talk about the QSS tax and being like, oh, these 3 champions are losing 1,300 gold. All they're getting is a bit of MR. Realistically, you have to ask yourself, what's the gold value for Skarner ult? And that usually depends on the target, because if you Skarner ult Deadly and kill him, that's a 10k gold Skarner ult right there. So I think despite the fact that obviously they're having to pay these extra costs, it just means that Maxi's champions becoming pretty redundant. And it just means BTXL are even harder to punish. And we already saw it was very difficult for Fnatic really to punish them. And now, 4k gold lead, 3 dragons in the pocket. It's only 20 minutes in the game. BTXL looking like they're wanting a 3-0.
They're looking for it. Looks like trouble could be right here. She put the bet down, but it would be a 3-0 as a scouting Super Mega Death Rocket. XL, they're not willing to start it quite yet. And now with Bean's ult down, doesn't have that long range execute. Not that anyone's really falling into execute range right now. And Pride being chased away by Rome. Oh, hello. That's massive. That is absolutely massive.
I think it shows the dynamic in this lane, how cautious Pride has to be. When you're full HP as a Nard and Malphite ult you and you have to flash it, things are rough. I think maybe the fear was potentially someone could be leaning over, because I don't think Hirome could solo kill Pride there.
Yeah.
I think it was more for, oh, if someone else is here, then I'm doomed.
And it's a massive denial as well, because I feel like some of the big conditions for Fnatic right now is a big Gnar roll into Maxi catching onto Deadly, and then Bean and Febiven just able to free fire. Now that you can't flash Naro, you have to be even more on it with jumping into them. So massive denial, honestly. It's a 4,000 gold lead, so, you know, fights aren't unwinnable for Fnatic. I think that's one thing to note, is while it's feeling rough, it's not unwinnable. Bean 0-3, so has his rapid fire cannon and his Kraken Slayer. Luden's Echo onto Febi. So they still have tools, they still have capabilities, but it's the ease of execution was what we hit on at the beginning of this game. And I think Fnatic are now feeling that.
I think you're looking at a point in the game where Bean and Febiven not only have several damage items, but also strong defensive items. And then you're more likely to be able to hold up a fight. You know, like if Bean has 3 items and then
It's coming, Orcs. Look at Hatrix, just out of vision. Romy's going to slam in. Here's the paranoia. By Pride, as he is going to get the ult off in time, but it's not going to be enough. Markoon just running rings around Rux and Pride, and Rux will lose his life here as Markoon's able to dodge away on everything being thrown at him as the Super Mega Death Rocket gets pretty close, but not close enough, and the tower goes down. 2 members of Fnatic fall. Game 1 was a lot more competitive. Game 2 is XL putting on a performance right now.
And the fact that Pride just can't even do anything, you know, they dive him under tower as a Gnar. He hits Mega, still does not matter. BTXL can do what they want, and they're going straight for the Baron Rush, but they've walked over wards. It's just kind of like a Hail Mary play, but it's not going to work out. I think they know they've been spotted and going to back away. They do have a ward, so they know when it's going to be started up, but I don't think they can contest this one. They're just going to, if they phase check, they walk through the jungle, they're just going to get engaged on. Malphite ult nearly up. Paranoia 2/3 of the way. And again, we still don't have those defensive items. Bean wants his core items. Sebevin is trying to build towards, you know, his as well. And I feel like you need those, and then you need like a stopwatch. You need a Zhonya's, you need a Banshees. You need more, and you need more time. And BTXL aren't given to them. It's 1 minute till Dragon as well, and that's Mountain Soul.
And, you know, we were already talking about how it's hard to kill them. I mean, we saw when they committed everything to Arome. Him having his passive shield, Mountain Soul shield, and the extra stats that Mountain Shield gives him. Well, Mountain Soul gives him.
Malphite.
He's going to be so hard to kill. And, like, Deadly's got the QSS, so he actually does gain a bit extra kind of MR versus Febby, making Febby just a little bit less kind of impactful. It's not massive, but it's enough, and Deadly's already being quite hard to get onto with what you have to walk through to get close to him. And Fnatic, frankly, just aren't willing to walk forward. As the inhibitor in the top side will crumble. Pride is going to start up onto this tower in the bottom lane, but I don't think XL really care losing at tier 2 here.
Oh, big TP's coming in. That's a double TP on the bot side. Looks like they might be a little bit more interested than we thought. Pride can try and TP out. I think he's going for the recall.
Yeah, I think he might actually get out of here unless Arome blind ults, but nope.
Yeah, he does make it. So a lot being by BTXL there, but I don't think they're really bothered. They just want to get control of this dragon. Got the skull, got the vision. Starting this one up, but Fnatic, they're going to look for the fight here.
I think Fnatic have to fight here, otherwise this game is so doomed. The paranoia is on, the onslaught follows up, and that is going to be being forced away. A massive ulti though, on to the backline is just doing so much work as Deadly jumps in forwards. It's a double kill onto the Nocturne. Pride getting run down, the slam lands onto multiple members as Deadly mops up a double kill. 4 members of Fnatic fall. And XL are just back to Dragon and then straight onto Baron.
And we highlight this in the draft. It feels nigh on unplayable for this Jinx. Malphite slams into the Nocturne can follow from almost anywhere, and the rest of the team just charges forwards. Bean had no options, Feberman had very little, and the rest of the team could just try their best, but they are just watching Fnatic Rising get decimated. Maxi trying to look for the steal here. He does have the flash, but I think he knows it's a desperate endeavor. I feel like the game is, with Baron and Mountain Soul going in favor of BTXL, this game feels pretty over.
I said it earlier, game 1, very competitive. Game 2, XL are here to play. They were just warming up, and this was a flawless team fight. Bean he just didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, and the big thing here is because of paranoia, he couldn't see the Malphite coming. So he had flash up, and you would think he'd be able to flash the Malphite ult, but he can't see. That is the big issue. That's why Nocturne's so devastating. It's not just the fact he dives on your backline. Just blocking your vision makes it so difficult to play these team fights. And Bean was left without any real options there. It just causes complete chaos. It means you can't react to your opponents. And unfortunately, they just get decimated. But BTXL just looking on fire this series.
Game number 1 was definitely the Deadly show. And while Deadly is having an absolute corker of a performance right now on the Tristana, 9-1-3, almost full build as well. This is XL firing on all cylinders. Everybody is having an amazing game right now. Arome in a rough matchup, completely stomping on Pride. Hatrix, you know, just kind of walking over Febervin in this Nocturne versus Azir matchup. Really, really big matchup there. They are going to jump in with that Magnet Storm, but it's just too little. It's just too late. The tower comes down and sliding into that backline with a 2-man knock-up. It's going to be a Romain hat-trick. Pride is going to lose his life. A double kill on the back end of the fight by Markoon, and Deadly mopping himself up a cheeky double as well. It's the ace for XL. They've taken the inhibitors, they've got the minions, they've got the Baron, and they have frankly slapped Fnatic about in this game, leaving them black and orange. 27 minutes on the clock. We're going to game 3, 2-0 for XL.
Just sheer devastation. I feel like there's definitely a lot to be said about the draft in this game. We said the same thing in game 1, but draft isn't everything. We've had a lot of series where even the team with the worst draft has come out ahead. This is XL, better draft, better play, just coordinating so much better, and just outskilling as well. Deadly and Advian finding a 2v2 double kill in the bot lane shouldn't be happening, and yet it is. And in these team fights, the coordination is there. It feels like Bean, who's been this big shining light for the Fnatic roster, when things are looking rough, he's the one who steps up to carry. He couldn't even play the game. I feel like he could have just turned his monitor off because that's as much impact as he was having.
I'm excited to hear what Goreborg has to say about that. And luckily, he'll be joining us on the desk after this break. We'll be back in a moment, and then we'll find out what he says.
Waking up, the sun is rising. We can go anywhere, do anything. Put your hand in my hand, let's explore. Travel places no one's been before. Leave your fears and hear you calling. Wherever you go, wherever you are, your beauty's unique. Melody so sweet, our differences make get lost in a forest of green. Lose ourselves in the blue of the sea. Paint the world and
XL are not messing around. Oh, wait, someone's turned up to work. Someone's actually made it to the casting desk. Look at him. Look at his little cheeky little face there.
Yeah, good to see you, Trouble. Finally showing off. We've had some great games so far. 2-0 now for BTXL. And what a dominant fashion it's coming out in here. So, Georgia, I know you missed a lot, but I tell you what, if you are a BTXL fanboy, it's going great for you right now.
Please fill me in, Gulborg. What happened? Please fill me in.
It's mostly been engaged compositions coming in from BTXL. You've seen Fnatic Rising. They've really struggled with the backline engage coming in, and now being on this Jinx in this game, had a rough time against the Malphite, against the Nocturne. A lot of backline damage coming in. These stockpiling composition, so hard to play for if you are in a mobile AD carry. So, Georgia, just don't worry about it. I got you covered.
Trouble's got her teacher face on. Look at her. She's got the teacher face on right now.
Thank you so much for the teaching session, Professor Gulborg. But
You're
it was,
welcome.
can we just call it what it was? That was an absolute stomp.
Yeah.
Deadly came in here the other day when he was doing the interview. He was just chilling like this, and he was like, "Listen, I'm just winning games, last hit and creeps. I don't need to do nothing." Deadly in the finals. It's kind of like the Drake meme where it's like Deadly in group stage, Deadly in the finals. Because he is popping off. He's done. He's tired with getting carried. He doesn't want to last hit anymore. He wants to last hit champions this games, not minions. And Fnatic were like, what you can do with the Jinx, we can do better. Well, joke's on you, Fnatic, because that BTXL draft, every BTXL draft I've seen so far, except game 2 in their previous best of 3, has been spot on. It has been so good, so easy to play for the players, and the execution and the skill level. This BTXL completely looks on another level, and I've probably just jinxed them.
Well, we need to make the series a bit more competitive. So
That's why I did it. It was my monologue.
There's your monologue. It's the Trouble monologue, adapting from Shocks, coming in to curse BTXL. But as I said before, they have been in this situation, 2-0 up, and then Fnatic Dan, who is obviously now on XL's main team, absolutely rolled them on a Rek'Sai 3 games in a row. So, end of the day, this is a situation that XL have faced before. They just need to close it out. I think, Gulborg, I'd love to hear some more from you, who's been obviously attentive and here and through the whole 2 games. And as I said, Trouble, she missed a few games, but Gulborg...
I missed a few, yeah.
Yeah, Gulborg, you've had your eyes peeled on every single game. Let's bring you in. How are you feeling?
Yeah, for sure. So I think it's a great point you bring. We certainly see Fnatic come back from this before, and Fnatic's never lost a finals against BTXL. But I also think that when we take a look at this roster as a whole, the fact that we can be like, you know what, Deadly's finally arrived. What do you mean he's finally arrived? If you talked to me half a year ago, I would have been like, what, if Deadly's not here, then why are BTXL winning? You have so many tools to play for finally if you are the side of BTXL. Rome's been a way better top laner than the previous one. Way faster clearing and first blood productivity from the jungle in Macoon than the previous one. Hat-Trick's been evolving from what we saw last split, and Deadly just chilling. I think that even if you fall back to a composition where you cannot play for Deadly, you'll still be fine. And that's what makes this even so hard for Fnatic. It's just the fact that they can't just overrun a single lane. It's a tough challenge they're up against.
I'm just gonna take everything Gulborg said, and I'm gonna show you why BTXL won so convincingly in the last game.
Okay. Are we self-throwing to drawing board again? You are self-throwing.
Yeah, I'm self-throwing to drawing board. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's every champion on the map. We don't actually need to know what's happening here. Febiven going on Hat-Trick's going on Febiven. Marcoon joins in, Maxi joins in. This is absolute nonsense. No one gives a single S about what's happening in the mid lane. Flash is here, Flash is there. Now this is where the magic happens. This is number 1. And this is going to be number 2. And this is where the game is absolutely over for Fnatic. GG, well played, Deadly 2-0, go next. That's why BTXL won.
That's why BTXL, easy. Easy then, just straight up from that. And I think honestly, it did feel like a bit of a roll. It did feel like a.
I mean, when your bot lane gets rolled over 2v2 under your tower, level 3, and you took the rel away, you made Advian angry, man. You take his rel, he'll stomp you with something else.
Okay, Dr. Gulbog, what do you think Fnatic need to do to kind of get themselves back in this series? When we get to this next draft, I think we have to start there,
he's
right?
Smiling. He's smiling.
He's smiling, looking at us.
He's like, I got this, guys. I got this.
I'd say your best strategy right now is win. When you win the game, then it's pretty good towards best of 5, especially when you haven't won yet. So I'd definitely put that towards them that should start winning some games.
Just okay. Well, look, I knew you were a connoisseur of the win
What
win
he
game.
means, guys,
But,
because they haven't done it at all this series, is win lane Fnatic so you can win game.
Yes,
There you
just win 5 head. Yeah, okay, got it. Nice. That's the 10,000 IQ play for Fnatic. But specifically, are there any areas that we think Fnatic need to improve on? Like for me, I felt there's been a bit of a top gap. Like I feel like Arome has just bodied Pride, but. Is there anything else that we think they need to focus on?
I don't necessarily think it's a Pride problem right here. It's just a Fnatic learn to act really well when their mid lane is stomping, and so far they have been picking very even matchups where okay, Febiven is on Victor, cool, he's on Azir, cool, put him on a Twisted Fate, put him on a Syndra, put him on something that he can absolutely dismantle the mid lane so he can have impact on his jungler and on his side lanes, because the only way we've seen Fnatic convincingly win their games is when Febiven is miles ahead. If you just put him on a control mate, all he has to do is farm and then join his team, if your draft is not superior to BTXL, it's just never gonna happen.
Well, they have 3 games that they need to win in a row to get that group stage European Masters spot and also win the NLC. And XL just need to take one of those 3. It is such a good position for XL to be in. BTXL they've been here before, but they've never managed to close it out versus Fnatic. If they can do it in the next game, it would be a first for them, and they would also claim that coveted group stage European Masters slot. Got 3rd draft coming your way after a short break. All right, guys. I've got a special announcement again. Hit me with it, Max. Flash giveaway! Okay, we have a flash giveaway. Loads of RP over on the NLC Twitter channel. Go and grab it. It's 5,725 points for yourself and a duo. Get over to NLC LOL and make me very happy. Okay, right, let's just go. Right, so we are into the draft of the third game of the day. I'm going to stop talking now because that required me to press too many buttons, and we obviously need to give Gulborg the floor because he's not been here the whole day. So Gulborg, please take the stage.
About what? I didn't know what picks were coming in. All right, so I mean, Trouble was ready for this draft. So Trouble, take it away.
I was the one not here, right? That was you said I wasn't here, so you take it.
Trouble, you've been here the whole day. What are you on about? Like Trouble. Oh my God, we need to get you checked out. Take away the draft, Trouble.
All right, so right here, the problem is that we thought that when BTXL were on red side, leaving the Na open would be such a comfort pick by Pride, and they ended up shutting it down big time. I'm not sure necessarily what Fnatic can do at this point because they've drafted. Everything they've drafted has gotten out-drafted by BTXL, and because BTXL have red side, they're going to have selection on more S tier champions because they are going to get two, whilst Fnatic get only one on blue side. And then they're going to have the counter pick wherever they want it, whether it's going to be on a Romer top lane or on Hatrix mid lane, or even the support that they've done a lot of times with Advian as well. At this point, I feel like BTXL have beat Fnatic with their own champions. Like, they took the Na, they took Advian's Rel, they beat them with it. They took the Jinx, they beat them with it. They literally seem to be like a better iteration of what Fnatic is bringing into the table right now. So I'm just not sure what's happening. I'm not sure we're not seeing any bans.
Yeah, interesting. 3 bans have come out from one side,
Okay,
and I don't know if we just have a mistake with the overlay, but Thresh and Sign has come through, and Rel seemed like a champion that was contested in this. Tristana perhaps might as well have been one of these contestants picked as we've seen in the Nocturne. Like, I think there's a lot of power picks open right now, and Fnatic, they are saying, Deadly, you look pretty swell on that Tristana. Maybe we try and do that now.
I'm just waiting to get confirmation as to whether XL did indeed ban something or they lost a ban. I don't know. I'll wait for my league ops to confirm whether we saw a ban or they intentionally missed a ban or whatever. But it is the Tristana first pick here for Fnatic.
I do like this because you need a power pick in your hands right now, and the thing is that Febiven can play it in the mid lane really well, and I would really just love to see Febiven with the Tristana in the mid lane, grab an AP jungler as well, something like the Nidalee for Maxi that he likes to play. I just want complete early game dominance in the mid lane, shut down a Hatrix really bad. Hatrix has been criticized for being the weakest link, not necessarily a weak link, but the weakest out of the entire BTXL roster, the one that gets unfortunately bullied the most when it comes to getting ganked. And Fnatic Rise in game number 1, that was the lane they chose to hit as well when he was playing the Orianna. So try to rinse and repeat that. Instantly BTXL, they don't want to take the chances. They lock in the Hecarim. Markun had an okay-ish game. He was warming up in game number 1 with Hecarim. Wasn't my personal favorite. I'd like to see the Udyr get locked in for Maxi again right here because it is a great pair up with Tristana. You jump in, you slap someone, Tristana jumps on, you immediately shut them down. So I like what Fnatic are bringing into the table. Strong pick, comfort, it's going good.
Exactly. I also like the adaptation. Like, immediately as you see the Tristana first pick, you need some disengage in your AD carry, and they go for the Sire instead here. I like the response for the Udyr, just as you said. Like, Hecarim got a lot of fast clear, great for coming in and ganking, but Udyr, one of those champions, as you said, Trottle, who can just shut that down. Like, he matches the clear speed perfectly. So right now it's on to BTXL. Do we want the counter matchup into Febiven's Orianna here, where we feel like, let's go for the Cinder, let's go for something else? Nope, we just straight up want the Renekton.
You have to ban Rel here. If you are Fnatic, you have to ban Rel. You cannot allow Advian to play the Rel yet again. I think he has something like a 90% win rate against Fnatic. He's only lost 1 game, basically, out of every Rel game he's played. And he's beaten you while you play Rel against him. So at this point, just get it out of the way. He knows the champion too well. But then the problem remains because you're going to have to ban mid lane champions. And Febiven has showed that he's going for the Orianna, so the Tristana is going to go down bot lane. You've pretty much showed on the table all your cards, and it's very obvious that Advian is going for the Rel right here, so the Gragas ban is going to come through. Possibly the Alistar ban is going to come through as well, because Rux really likes his engaged champions. And if you don't have tools, reach the Xayah, and you're going to have to resort onto something like a Nautilus. It's going to be extremely tough because Xayah has the ultimate to evade the Nautilus ult. Oh boy.
I think like I need to see some strong AP coming out from the side of BTXL right now. The strongest AP is not going to come from the support. It's going to come from Hatrix in the mid lane. So if you go for Control Mage, if you go for the Syndra, the Azir, the Victor, like there's loads of options where there's room for you. So you can already say, all right, either we first pick the rail, or we just let it go through and we come in with a counter pick instead, because we can counter pick mid lane. We don't have to show anything here. So I actually think it would benefit BTXL if they get the rail. If they ban rail, great, we just get counter pick. If you don't ban rail, great, we just first pick it.
I was just about to say that is a hat-trick Syndra game. You completely obliterate the mid lane, but Fnatic were so fast on the trigger to get this out of the picture. I really like this for them, and my.
Oh, it's the Ari. Is it the Everfrost Ari? That's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a Everfrost into the someone please help me, the one with the long range and the root. Someone has to help me with the name on that item.
It's your special
Google, please.
What are we talking about here? We're talking
Keeper should know as well the second item.
Second item for Ari after Everfrost.
After Everfrost, the one that if you root someone, if you mobilize someone, it procs the extra damage.
Cosmic Drive, whatever it's called, I don't know.
Horizon Focus.
Yeah,
Thank
Horizon
you,
Focus.
Dan. Oh, this is gonna be so good. You see, here's what BTXL is trying to do again right here. They're trying to emulate comp number 1. Because again, if you look at the Fnatic Rising composition, they don't necessarily have any super heavy engages and divers in the backline. Yes, you have the Leona ult that could land, could not land. It's not 100% guaranteed. Yes, you have the Leona going in, but then Maxi has to run through the front line. Aatrox has to run through the front line. Tristana has to jump in. And good luck jumping into a Xayah, who's never going to die with ult up, into the open hands of Renekton.
And the Rel. This is R5 Rel, by the way. You don't often see that.
I just want to give some context to the Ahri as well, because for EU people, it might be something that's kind of weird, but like 1 month ago, the rank 1 mid laner in Korea was a Ahri one-trick pony who was making it work with this Ahri build specifically. So it actually originated from one of the other regions, and then we started in Scrim saying, you know what, that seems kind of cool, let's try and pick that up. And that's why we started to see it every now and then in the NLC, and now here, where it actually fits quite nicely where you need an AP burst spell coming in.
I'm just really sad because again, Fnatic Rising doesn't necessarily have a dictated lane for pressure, and that should have been their mid lane. And I'm assuming that they want to play towards Bean because Bean has been their carry, same as Deadly for BTXL, and Bean has been doing stellar. Like even in the games that they did lose, you saw Bean really trying his hardest and really trying to come on top. It just wasn't the circumstance for him to do so. And now with the Leona setup, yes, you do have a lot of kill potential, but after 6, you have no kill threat in any lane from BTXL.
Yeah, and this is a must-win game for Fnatic now as well. Like, if they don't, they are out there into... So they take the second place, XL wins the grand finals, they get the European Masters group stage spot, and it would be the first time that XL has ever beaten Fnatic. I think the last time XL won anything, either UK or even remotely related to the NLC, was in 2017.
And doing it on a 3-0 fashion tonight?
Yeah, and do you know the last time they had a familiar face playing for them? The last time XL won anything, it was the familiar face. And he's casting. That is how old that win was. He's now retired and become a caster.
Coincidence? I think not.
Exactly. I'm going to hand it back over to our previous XL winner, the guy who still only has the title with XL. It's Hitrain and Dan.
Yeah, it's right. Last time XL won, I was their support. It's been a while. Get ready to go on to the Rift.
I think the big thing, Jake, is last time XL won, I was capable of getting Master Tier and Solo Queue. That's the big one.
Oh, tragic. How far we have fallen.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, I staled out. I've been staled out for a very long time. You've fallen off a cliff. That's the difference between me and you. Although I'm still pretty sure you could whoop my butt. Anyway, I'm pretty giddy. We get to see an Ahri. Anyone who's followed me for a while will know that I love this champion. So I'm super excited to see it. The Everfrost Horizon Focus build as well. Most likely what we're going to see out from him here. I'm really excited for this mid lane matchup.
Yeah, there's a couple of options with regards to the second item. You can go Horizon Focus if you want more kill pressure on your burst targets. There's Cosmic Drive if you want more mobility. And that gives you a ton of ability haste, so your ult's on such a short cooldown. And then you can also just go for like a standard defensive option, like a Zhonya's or a Banshee. It kind of comes down to what you want from the pick, whether you want your own kill pressure, whether you want to be facilitating CC for your allies more, which I think Cosmic Drive helps with. It really comes down to what you need for the composition. And I think it really depends on what Hatrix wants here. There's a lot of fine options.
For now, going for the Foxfire start. Just gives you a lot of single target damage you can put onto Febby, and you're seeing these trades at level 1 going in favor of Hatrix every time he has that Frostfire up.
You know, I don't miss.
What?
Remember DFG Ari, where you get
Oh,
DFG'd and then you'd like RW and miss everything and still kill you?
I miss that so bad.
Yeah, you needed that.
I mean, like, I'm a filthy Ari and LeBlanc player, so of course I miss DFG every day. I also miss ZZ Rot.
No one misses ZZ Rot.
I do.
Even people who use ZZ Rot don't miss ZZ Rot.
You're telling me someone like Trick2G doesn't miss ZZ Rot?
He's an exception.
ZZ Rot got ruined by Pro League. It was such a stupid solo queue item, and then everyone started playing it, everyone started building it in Pro League, and they got removed. Anyway, Febby is getting popped into the Waiting Elms of Hatrix here. Not going to be able to get too much extra in here, but that was a lot of damage onto Febiven. But burning his flash, Marcoon did go for the ghost.
Yeah, it was really patient from Marcoon there. He waited for Febiven's flash before knocking him back. Unfortunately, Hatrix, I don't think he has his charm skilled yet. But even if he did, there was minions in the way. I mean, we can't tell he's level 3 now. I don't think he had it there. I think he had WQ, I'm pretty sure. And so wasn't able to follow up. And even if he was, there was minions in the way. So it was never going to lead to a kill, but you do get the flash. And that's the important thing. Putting some pressure down in the mid lane. And so far, BTXL's solo lane is doing pretty solidly in their lane matchups.
Yeah, I was about to say, we haven't actually looked towards top lane, but Arome, 20 CS to 12 at the moment. There is a large wave crashing into Pride. So providing Pride can pick most of this wave up underneath his tower, that pressure will be somewhat alleviated. But Arome can now head off and just look for a cheetah recall. Get some items under the belt, but for now, maybe just looking to cover Marcoon as he picks up this crab.
Yeah, and pretty strong. I mean, it's expected this early game between the Udyr and the Hecarim. Hecarim a little behind, having not played his Krugs yet, but it doesn't make a huge difference. And Ward being placed on that pixel brush on the bot side means when Maxi moves over to try and apply some counter pressure, Hatrix knows it's coming.
Actually, it's been a while since, you know, Ari's really... It's shown up here and there every now and then, but there were some changes because Ari had her movement speed removed from her Q. It's now on the W. So when you pop that W, you get a bit of bonus movement speed. There's Romy and Pride taking a fight here. Romy coming out for the worst for it, but we'll just heal straight back up off the cube. Pride with the Deathbringer stance able to also sustain the healthy amount, and a couple of those Darkened Blades, and Romy could be in trouble. Maxi's going to come in on the hunt. Has got that flash. Romy trying to get close towards that tower in time, but the Infernal Chains connect. Just about breaking them, but Romy going a little bit too far forward there.
Yeah, they get the flash, and the thing is, the wave's actually in a pretty bad spot here. Could see a return gank if he TP's in, but just might see whether he goes for it. I think he's feeling confident now. He's got Execution in his corner in his pocket. He doesn't expect the Udyr to return, so he will just go for it, but we'll be down flash now. Advian got aggressive here.
Yeah, they're trying to put the feathers in, trying to get Rux down low, but Advian's getting jumped onto. Great exhaust, but into the cleanse. Here comes Marcoon, the flash by Bean. Hatrix hasn't got that Spirit Rush available yet, but is coming in on the flank. He's been spotted out by Febby. I think this may just be that dive, although looks like they are going to back off.
Yeah, seeing Febby there, I think you back away from that one. You're happy that you got the summoners out of Bean. Ultimately, you could see they were waiting for the moment that Tristana opted to jump in. Instant exhaust by Advian means he's not going to be able to get a kill or the reset. Has to flash away to get out. So, winning play there for BTXL. And again, just Marcoon applying this pressure down on the map.
Yeah, Marcoon hasn't got any kills, but has been applying pressure. That's the key thing. Is the scoreboard isn't entirely representative of the impact Marcoon has had. Febiven's still playing fairly safe in the lane due to the flash being down. Hatrix about to get that Spirit Rush. That combined with flash means Ari is super hard to pick. Very, very fast champion. And XL are looking to contest this dragon, although Febby is going to get jumped onto. The charm connects, and in comes the slam. In comes the kill. It's first blood for Hatrix on the Ari.
Yeah, not much you're going to be able to do there once you get hit by that charm. Just completely locked down. Flash this Febiven picked off, and it's good to see that return pressure coming in. It's not just, you know, we got the flash, cool, that allows some pressure. They punish it, and they get the kill in the end.
Romy just going to catch this wave underneath his tower. Was up pretty significantly in his lane, but actually now just sitting just under equal as he drops that CS. And everybody else kind of caught on their resets. The Lost Chapter finished up for Hatrix. Deadly hasn't actually gone for the Noon Quiver. Was forced onto a slightly less opportunistic base and has the pickaxe and the longsword, while Bean has got his Noon Quiver. So a little bit extra attack speed to work with for him.
Again, it feels like almost we've had these situations where Bean is kind of taking the pick that Deadly had the game before. You know, initially with a Jinx, now with a Tristana, and it just hasn't quite been working out as well. In fairness, I think big credit to Marcoon. He's really been making an impact on the bot lane. I think a big thing last split is we saw Maxi playing with Riddle, and it was very much a solo lane oriented team. And it feels like he hasn't really paired up well with his bot lane in this series so far. It's been a bit more about the mid lane. And right now, Bean and Rux, they're doing okay in this game. But again, after the last game, getting 2v2 killed and Deadly getting a double kill is just never a good situation.
It's definitely a better start, though, for Fnatic over that last game. By now, the gold lead was about 6,000. So,
yeah, I think for me the draft differences we saw in game 1 and game 2 aren't as big of an issue here.
Yes.
Because it was really problematic, and you know, especially that game 2 draft, we're kind of pulling our hair. This feels closer. This feels more even. But it hasn't just been a draft issue. XL have been out executing, but at least, like, you know, when you are 2-0 down, Fnatic haven't hindered themselves before the game's even started.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Crab's just spawned up. Both of the teams are rotating over to contest this. As actually Marcoon's going to jump onto Maxi. Maxi does get the command protect shield from Febby. Roommate looking just to zone Pride away from moving in. We'll find each other here as Infernal Chains are going to get dodged away, and Roommate looking to try and turn back around onto Pride as Marcoon's coming in onto the flank, but so is Rux. Fnatic looking to kill this Crocodile. Here comes the ghost from Marcoon. Febby's the one getting charged onto. That's the charge onto the back as Roommate still dealing with Pride, but he is so low, and Febby's just going to continue to advance forwards and find himself the kill. Patrick's not quite in the right position to be able to contest this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think they could just look to start the Herald here. 4 against 3. No TP available for Arome. In the meantime, the AD carry is just farming up on the bot side. So Herald will be pulled away by BTXL to try and buy a bit of time, but I don't think that's going to drastically change this. You see Marcoon is in the wings, but with no ultimate. Maybe they do contest this, though. Arome is heading back on the map, and it's still a whiles to go before this goes down.
Hatrix, Spirit rushes over the wall, Shockwave lands in as the flash is there. Febby's looking for something. Hatrix dashes back out to safety. Now Advian standing in the middle of free, cannot do anything as the solar flare gets flashed away by Hatrix. Arome coming in onto the flank. Charm hits onto Pride, but Arome continues to advance forward, unable to steal that one away as Maxi picks it up. It is a 1-for-2.
Yeah, and Fnatic coming out ahead in this one. They get the Herald as well. BTXL pulling the trigger a little bit too soon. Arome wasn't there to follow up, and so even though they got that initial kill on the Featherman, you're just not winning out in that situation where you're going to be outnumbered. Fnatic just collapsed down onto the Hecarim and then onto the Rel. And a positive start for Fnatic Rising. The first time they've really felt in control in this series.
It's how they use that control, as Pride is about to see multiple members jumping into him. Marcoon's going to try grab the tower aggro. They're using the CC. Arome actually has to flash away as the Magnet Storm comes in. And Pride is actually just sustaining for it all. Arome slides in forwards and secures himself the kill. But the tower shots will take him down. Pride, 1 versus 3, trades 1 for 1.
Yeah, he just absolutely shredded them. So much healing coming in thanks to his ultimate and landing his Darkened Blades. And then Arome commits for the kill. That ends up being a 1-for-1. Sure, Pride misses some farm, but you commit that many numbers to trade 1-for-1. On the other side of the map, Fnatic just hammering away your tower.
And they've zoned Deadly away from the farm as well. Deadly has been the standout player for XL, and kind of going back to old Deadly style where he just sits off in the side lane farming alone. But Fnatic just go, okay, you do that. We'll take this first tower at Blood and give the plates over to our jungler and our AD carry.
Oh,
Hatrix.
Potentially caught out here.
Yeah, there is a Spirit Rush on to Hatrix. Uses it to dodge away. Teleports are coming in, and now Marcoon's looking for the charge. Rux has to flash over. Teleport wasted by Arome. Spirit Rush wasted as well. XL looking to translate this into a dragon, however.
Yeah, but the big thing is Fnatic got that first dragon, so BTXL getting this isn't as big a deal. And they do manage to get that TP burn, so Pride can crash this wave in top, and they can look to use that advantage in terms of teleports elsewhere for another objective, potentially the next Herald.
Yeah, no Everfrost finished up on to Hat-Tricks yet, so bit of a ways away from being able to use that. Rome just made his way back up. Pride did pick up a plate for himself, and Pride is absolutely slapping a Rome around.
Yeah, he's really just manhandling him. Landing those Darkened Blades really consistently. Been a solid performance. Close one there. I mean, again, Rome dashes out of the tether, so is able to get away, but Pride really challenging this 1v1, which is something we don't see as much in this meta. It tends to be a lot of the time these top lane matchups are a bit of a snooze fest. There's definitely windows. It seems like Pride is finding them more and more.
Well, he's got Stride Breaker finished up.
Where a lot of the times... Sorry, you go on, Jake.
I was just saying, Rome, all he's got is a Harp Iron Axe and an Execution as well. Pride's got his Stride Breaker, so entire item finished up, and Rome is just feeling it.
Could be looking for him here, though.
I don't know if they have what it takes to kill him, however. Rome does have the Dominus, so Maxi gonna come in and steal away that big Krug, as Marcus is gonna try and mop up what's left over. Advian is coming about, and it is a fairly scary tower dive. There is a lot of CC Fnatic have, but XL do in turn have a lot themselves. If you jump underneath that tower, you could find yourself locked down a little bit too long.
And the numbers advantage is a big thing in favor of Fnatic now. Deadly was pushing up the tower, but a little bit concerned with Pride resetting. And remember, he does have that TP. He's going to back away, and Fnatic really feel in control of this game. And it's crazy that they went 2-0 down in such a fashion. It really felt like BTXL had firm control. And now it just looks like Fnatic is turned on. It looks like they're playing the game we typically expect from them. TP is coming in. This is Hat-Tricks looking for Bean.
Can they find the kill? I feel like they need to make this kill happen, and they get the interrupt with the Magnet Storm, only catching one with that Everfrost as the Solar Flare, the Zenith Blade out for safety, and now it's Marcoon charging forwards, dodging around the Shockwave, but it's not going to be enough as Pride now ripping through these members. Deadly can't put enough feathers down, can't deal enough damage. And that was XL's moment. That was their proactive play, and it backfired so terribly for them.
There's a TP advantage from Pride coming in clutch, able to make it to the plate and help clean up on those kills, but as well being flawless play in that one with the cleanse, flash, and ultimate all used to disengage that one perfectly. Yeah, Hat-Tricks, don't think you have damage to kill Nudia, but we'll force him away from the red at least. But again, more and more in favor of Fnatic rising, and they are now 3,500 gold up at only 15 minutes.
For me, the big thing is XL have just kind of ignored Deadly this game. This hasn't been the Deadly game when he has been the standout player for me. Febby has to be somewhat careful there. Is the Everfrost, no Spirit Rush available to Hat-Tricks, but he has Advian at his back. Catches him with the slow, and that is going to be one dead Orianna. Kill's going to get gifted over to Hat-Tricks. One last Spirit Orb. And he gets himself his third kill, so the Ahri pick not being problematic. The problem is everybody else is really starting to suffer. And a Rome just being pressured out so heavily by Pride.
It feels like everyone's stepping up, but Febiven's still having a bit of a rough game. Getting picked on, getting targeted, getting essentially just picked consistently. But even though he's suffering, the rest of Fnatic doing so well. Pressuring this mid lane tower. Do you have to be a bit careful for that run engage?
So they're more interested in making sure that Deadly gets that farm.
It's very difficult to punish a Tristana as a rel, because if you land the CC, she can buffer it with a rocket jump. But even if you land your Magnet Storm, she can just jump out of it.
Or pop you away.
Yeah, both work. Really, the rel just completely excels into mobile carries. Like Febiven on the Orianna. Great target for the rel, but against Trist, it's a much harder task.
Now, Fnatic can stay us up this crab. They got plenty of time. They don't have to worry about the dragon. And XL willing to give this up to gain prio in the mid lane and get vision around this dragon pit. The problem is you can instantly just regain the prio in the mid lane by slapping the Herald down. And there's the Herald. This tower's gonna die. There's nothing XL can do about that. That charge will be enough to finish it off. Bop goes to tower. XL will be able to deal with the Herald before he gets another charge out, but the Dragon is now spawned up. And XL have kind of lost their foothold here as Rux is gonna get chunked out pretty heavily. Hatrix, I believe, put the Spirit Rush to dodge away there.
I don't
Didn't have complete vision on him.
He's still got a Spirit Rush. Pride looking for a flank here.
Watch for the Shockwave, watch for the Pride flank. He's making his way over, nobody has spotted him yet. Hatrix not seeing this as the Dragon's getting spotted up. Here is the fight breaking out. Fnatic need to find it onto Hatrix. They need to find that shutdown. Hatrix able to jump away, but Rux secures himself the kill. Fevy throws the Shockwave onto one as Deadly is just all alone and cut down by Fnatic. XL not playing to their superstar AD carry, and it is biting them this game.
Yeah,
meanwhile,
Pride
Roaming
flank here. Honestly, just perfect.
Rome's going to lose his life. Advian is probably next to go as well, unfortunately for him. Fnatic coming out swinging into game number 3.
I was about to say he would get out there, but because he obviously had to dismount, he's so slow. 4 for 0? Was it? No, 4 for 1, I think that was overall. Devastating. Fnatic just absolutely crushing that one, and huge credit here to Pride on this Aatrox. Goes to this beautiful flank, walks through BTXL's part of the jungle, which isn't warded. Dives in with Rux, crushes Hatrix down, who, although he dashes over the wall, dies to the Ignite, and then Deadly gets caught in the mix. Does manage to take out Rux here, but you can't do anything against this Aatrox. And Pride isn't done. He's still chasing down kills. And I think the crazy thing is that BTXL have a Rome. And a Rome, you know, haven't been on Mad Lions, haven't been at Worlds, and haven't looked so dominant in the NLC split. We're seeing Pride really step it up to him this game. Looked better than him in lane this game, and in the team fights has been absolutely delivering.
We said earlier in the season that Pride has probably been one of the most standout players for us on Fnatic. You know, there's always been a few questions around him, and I remember you said quite rightfully he kind of had a bit of a resurgence towards the tail end of last season, and it just looks like he is on fire right now as Febby getting jumped down. Hatrix is going to make his way over. Shockwave, it's a sad sombrero, and Hatrix will find his 4th kill of the game on the RE.
Yeah, I think Pride, when he first came on the roster, was definitely the weakest player, and I think even he would agree with that. And it took time, but he's really developed well as a player. And in a lot of positions, he has taken that carry role and driving it forward, and we saw a lot of the last split. But just some really solid play. In this game, the person, I mean, everyone on Fnatic is looking solid, apart from, honestly, Featherman's looking a little bit rough, just consistently getting caught out. And the thing is, if you're playing an Orianna, you can't overstep, especially against this Ahri who can just so easily chase you down. You're really just going to start giving over free gold, and in this situation, the tower's going down as well. It's kind of like XL's window back in the game. They're still very much behind, but punishing this Orianna has kind of been their route to getting back some of that difference between the teams.
That's what I was about to say as well. It did feel like XL's win condition right now is find a pick, turn that into a neutral objective like a tower, and just kind of pull some of that locked gold back, because at the moment it is rough for XL. They are finding these picks onto Febby, and that's great for them, but you are still looking at Pride 4-1 on the Aatrox. You've got Bean, who this time hasn't been shut down in lane. He is 1-0-1 on the Tristana. Having a great game. He's got the Phantom Dancer. He's got the Kraken Slayer. Honestly, Fnatic's carries outside of Febby, it's all fine still.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It's good to see that Fnatic have finally found the fun, because I think if this had been a 3-0, it would have been so disappointing, considering how close the last series was, how down to the wire it came to, and just the legacy that Fnatic have had. For them just to go out, not even taking a single game. And they still haven't yet, but this is looking good. At least we are seeing good play from them, because game 1 and 2, it felt doomed very quickly. There was a little bit of momentum in game 1, but it quickly spiraled out of control, and the draft was a big issue as well. But here, Fnatic are in charge, but Rux, like he might have overstepped here.
Oh, they're actually jumping into Febby as well. They're looking for the twofer. They get the CC, they get the turnaround. Can they find the kills in time? Rux is solo. Big solar flare. Catches onto all of XL though. And now Deadly just free firing away. The knockups are coming in and here comes Hatrix. Misses the charm. It's not enough. Pride is locked down. And now Hatrix gets himself the Everfrost lockdown. Pride is shut down. And somehow Fnatic are losing everything. Hatrix finds the charm. But Bean buffers the rocket jump. And Fnatic are just bolting to the win. It's barren for XL now.
Complete beautiful engage coming out from BTXL. They managed to find Febiven and Rux and decimate them. Febiven doesn't even get the shockwave off. And then the fight is just messy from there on out. Pride and Bean, Maxi as well, trying to do as much as they can. But they were basically fighting a 3v5 at that point. Even though the execution wasn't perfect on the back end for BTXL, it's enough. And they managed to get a Baron. That gold lead we're talking about has just been cut in half. And XL are not done. They are back in this game.
All right, let's have a look at this fight again. Apart from a sad charm from Hatrix, this was beautiful.
This is Rux overstepping and Warden alone. And then we see Febiven come to save him. Doesn't even get the shockwave off in the end. And now you've lost Febiven. Rux has no cooldowns and is very low on HP. Pride tries to come in but is exhausted instantly. But at this point, you're basically fighting a 3v5. And even with the gold deficit, it's just not winnable. Like, Hatrix gets a beautiful double route there, allowing them to clear off Pride, and then Bean and Maxi know they cannot win this fight.
And now we're looking at Hatrix. He's got the Cosmic Drives that have so much cooldown reduction. I believe he has enough AP to get the bonus movement speed as well now. So, gonna be nice and quick.
I believe on 2 items you have enough.
Because they changed Cosmic Drive.
How much ability haste does he have? Can we actually see? Oh, I forgot it doesn't show up on the spectator thing.
No, it doesn't. That's really annoying. I mean, we can probably figure out. He probably has Transcendence.
You get 20 from Everfrost.
I know he doesn't have Transcendence.
You get 40 from that, and you get 20 from that. So he's got 80 ability haste already, which is crazy. What's a cooldown on his ult and his charm? That's my question. So 52 seconds on his ult. Yeah, that's... Not too concerned about baiting that one. Dragon just get picked up by Fnatic Rise, and they manage to sneak that one away. But they're losing towers. This gold lead getting closed out, and Hatrix still pushing onto the top side.
Yeah, Hatrix is hammering away at the base as he gets himself a little bit of damage into Pride. This mid lane tier 1 going to be cracked open here by Deadly, Advian, and Marcoon. And there is a concern in the fact that Fnatic still are up in gold. That gold lead is evaporating, but they are still technically up. But 1 dragon away from Infernal Soul now. You thought Pride was hitting hard earlier. He is going to be absolutely smacking people about with the Infernal Soul on those sweet spots from the Darkened Blade.
Goldie's now only less than 1,000. And the big thing this game, honestly, has been mid-diff. Hatrix has looked really solid in the Ahri, and Febiven has looked almost a bit lost in this game. He's just been getting caught again and again and again. And in fairness, BTXL have specifically targeted him, but it is rough to see. This was Fnatic's comeback game. This was the one where they had the goldie, they had the advantage, and they're losing it.
Well, this is their last chance. I would say that for XL, for this series, it's not just been mid-diff for this game. I think this series has honestly been Hatrix honestly smurfing it. He's been playing so well. Game number 2, picking that Nocturne into the Azir. Honestly, beautiful stuff there. As we do see Hatrix go for a cheeky Spirit Rush away, just in case that shockwave for Febby caught onto him. Now got himself the Blighting Jewel. So building towards the Void Staff as the next item. So won't see that Horizon focus yet.
Like doing a decent job of defending this vision in the jungle. They really can't push it out much, but keeping it tight near their towers is important. Right now, the Baron's timed up, so BTXL can kind of just slow off. Still down in gold very marginally. It's not too much of an issue. The teams are essentially on an equal playing field now, other than those dragons that Fnatic has an advantage. And it's 2 minutes 50 on that next dragon. Towards that one, and you can see the gold graph there. I mean, that's very much not what you want to see. You had that massive lead. It's just completely been eclipsed now.
I mean, you can see where it started to fall off a cliff. Hatrix does get jumped onto by Pride, but Pride just jumps away to safety. He's got Spirit Rush. He's going to be able to do it multiple times. Like you said, 52-second cooldown on that. Once he hits level 16, it will shrink even more.
Yeah, he can go for another one, and then he'll still be up for Dragon.
Yeah. He is gonna. Yeah, he actually gets 6 spirit rushes before Dragon spawns.
6? Oh, do you mean
Well,
like
it's free per. It's free per cast, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but you know.
Look, I'm making it sound grander than it is. Okay.
Well, if you
Wasn't
talk about the
factually
projectiles, he gets 3 for each one. So he gets 18 before dragons. So.
We're just inflating the numbers.
We did the math.
Oh. Febby getting jumped onto. They're looking for the fear. They're looking for the turnaround. Here comes the teleport in time. I don't know if XL were quite ready for this. The Buster Shot comes down and Pride is looking for Marcoon. Marcoon is just going to get popped and Pride in the middle of everyone.
He's going down.
Solo. Deadly is low. Pulls back the feathers. Goes in. Jumps back out. And now Hatrix jumps forward. Gets himself the kill onto Pride. He still has those spirit rushes to jump forward. Charm goes in between the goalposts. And here comes the next one onto Arome. Gets himself a little bit of extra damage. The Rux is picked up on Arome. Actually turns it back around. The Charm gets a little bit wide once again. XL. That was a little bit too greedy, but somehow it went okay for them.
Yeah, Fnatic found the favorable play. They managed to keep Featherman alive and turn it around, but then they overcommit. And the critical thing was the split decisions coming out of that fight. If you get a replay of this one, the follow-up damage isn't there. Hatrix doesn't quite have his ultimate up yet, so he can't instantly get on the Featherman. And then watch Bean. He's hitting Marcoon, and he jumps onto Advian to chase him down. Featherman starts to follow and assist, and now the front line of Fnatic are without the carries. Featherman does make the decision to come over, but by this time, Pride is dead. Maxi and Rux are pretty low on HP, and ultimately, Fnatic needed to make one call. Do we go for Advian, take the kill, then go for the Dragon setup, or do we go for the follow-up on the carries? Instead, they had a split call, and that cost them the fight overall.
Now, 20 seconds until that Dragon is up. All of the ultis are going to be back up for this fight. Bar Rome, actually. I don't think he'll have his in time. He might do, actually. It'd be pretty close. Deadly actually won't have his. Deadly won't have his. And he burnt Flash and Cleanse, so he is actually very susceptible to getting jumped onto by Pride.
Oh, Pride is in
the flank.
He's playing with fire. He's scared of a ward getting
out.
thrown down. Oh, but he's going for a flank round. They will see him coming on this blast cone. Actually, he's taking the long route. They do see him anyway, though. Charm down. He can go for this.
Hatrix just on zoning duty. Pride gonna get caught out by the Everfrost. Uses the Infernal Chains, and he is already chunked. Pride is so low. Rome pops the Dominus, and now the charge comes in onto the backline. The fear is onto Featherman, forcing him away. The Magnet Wave is huge, though, in response. But Advian can't die yet as he's shut down by Arome. XL wiping Fnatic off the map. It's a double kill for Arome. It's an ace for XL, and they don't even lose a single goddamn member.
They absolutely crushed that fight. They were wise to Pride's flank. He caught them out with it before. They managed to pick him off, get him low, and then the ensuing fight goes their way. Beach XL, not only do they deny the soul and get the dragon, they're going to break this inhibitor tower. They're going to get the Baron as well, and they're going to find themselves firmly in the lead in terms of gold.
Baron is up, and this started so well for Fnatic Rising, but XL have played superb to pull it back, to find the punishes they need to tie that gold lead and just bring it back into their favor. And now the second Baron falls for them. They've taken an inhibitor tower. They've got the Baron. It's back to base. It's off to spend the gold, and then we'll see the siege. But before that, let's have a little look at how it all got to here.
Yeah, so Pride, he ends up basically burning everything here and getting chunked out. He's trying to peel over to his team. I think it's Fnatic ending this choke point. Beautiful Hecarim ult comes in. It becomes a huge mess, and Deadly, he's just free-firing on the backside, layers up a ton of feathers and decimates the front line, and then it's only really Featherman and Bean just gets exploded here. And you can see Featherman, he is not long for this world against his Renekton. Arome, who had a rough laning phase in this game, is now just unstoppable in these team fights.
Marcoon just cutting off Fnatic through their own jungle, making them go the long way, waiting for Arome to catch the wave. Hatrix in the mid side pushing out, but now they're actually looking for Marcoon. He's going to get pretty heavily stunned up.
He's too tanky.
But yeah, he's so tanky.
Fnatic going for the Fnatic rush, but it just doesn't work when there's a full tank Hecarim in your face. BTXL going to take this tower pretty easily. Featherman just clearing up that mid wave, and it's just further amplifying this goal lead between these two teams.
It is starting to balloon out of control for Fnatic.
You see the patience here. They're waiting to stack the wave up to match it with that mid lane wave, which Hatrix just going to push. And now they crash this wave in. Fnatic are going to have to clear this out. In the meantime, BTXL have already rotated up to meet this wave coming in from Hat-Tricks, and they'll just be able to take this tower pretty easily. No contest coming from Fnatic Rising. And now the waves are synced. If we actually look, both waves are actually in the exact same spot. So it's now splits the pressure, makes things a little bit difficult for Fnatic to deal with.
And also the top wave is starting to build up as well. So if they do take down these turrets, they can then rotate towards the top side and get that. But this looks like a fight's breaking out. Arome getting everything thrown onto him. Shockwave lands on the Shockwave. That is absolutely massive. But the charge through the whole team, and Deadly is still alive. He gets himself the kill. Rux is going to die. It's going to be Fnatic losing everyone. The res is there. A double kill for Hat-Tricks. They used everything to kill Deadly, but he just survived long enough to turn the fight around. And XL, this might just be it. This might just be where they close it out. The death timers are way too long. It took 3.5 years, but XL finally reclaimed their spot at the top here. They are going to win the NLC 2021 Spring.
And what a deserved victory. What a manner in which to do it. A 3-0 against Fnatic Rising of all teams. A team who have always been at the top. Whether it's a UKLC, whether it's the NLC, they have always been #1. And XL knocked them off the pedestal and to the ground. 3-0 victory. That was the only game that even looked close. And still BTXL managed to turn around from a huge goal deficit and just completely crush them.
Honestly, we waited all season for the XL Fnatic game. And obviously we did have it in the upper bracket finals as well. And XL won that. It was a close series. That was definitely a closer series than this. A 3-0 though for the side of XL. They've got to be feeling incredible right now. It's taken them so long since they've been able to claim the title here. And I mean, 3.5 years of waiting, and they finally do it. They beat out Fnatic. But I think it's time for us to pass it over to Xcandrel and the rest of the desk to break down our finals. So Xcandrel, over to you.
They did it! They broke the curse! XL beat Fnatic in a final, and it was dominant.
Can I do a Kobe? Can I do a Kobe?
Yeah, feel free.
I never doubted them!
You never doubt. I mean, to be fair, you did call the 3-0 trouble. I'm giving it to you. You definitely called the 3-0. But I think, everybody, I mean, I think most people wouldn't be fair to say Fnatic get a game, at least in that series. But XL, that looked like a game that Fnatic were going to take. Halfway through that game, we were like, Fnatic, okay, we might have a series.
Halfway through, it was all the way from the start. It was like, it's doomed. It's bloody doomed.
I mean that was doomed. What an insane game. And I'm not even bothered that it's a 3-0. Obviously, I wanted to see a 5-game banger, but just to see XL perform at that level, that gives me a lot of hope for this team going into the European Masters, because of course they have won the NLC and they are going to the group stage of the European Masters. So huge win for XL. Honestly, and I'm sure the team are overjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that best of 3 just felt like one game. That's just how fast they did it. It's honestly crazy that they were able to close it out so fast in a best of 3. And to me, we say Doom, but I actually really like the draft composition they had coming into this. I thought there's a lot of utilizations of different ways you could actually play the game. You could go for the backline dive, but you also had the peel with the Everfrost, with the Arichan, just one-shotting people that was going to be coming into you. And you saw that in the last fight, Pride getting just instantly popped by all the CC. And every time they tried to go in, well, you know what? BTXL had a counter.
I just have to say here, because we've been praising every single member from BTXL, and we're Deadly stepped up, Marcoon is a god, Roma came back from the LEC, Advin is so great on support, but Hat-Tricks this game, I believe that Hat-Tricks single-handedly was dragging Marcoon and Arome, because Marcoon and Arome were we really want to lose. And Hat-Tricks was no, bitches, you're just going to win. You have to come over here on this side with the winners. And he did such a great job on just opening the backpack and shoving in both the Hecarim and the Renekton in there. It was just great to see that Hat-Tricks can have this sort of performance when everyone's fingers, every time something goes wrong, had been falling on them.
Yeah, I think that there was some big moments, and Hat-Tricks was a big facilitator of that. I think Deadly had some insane team fights in that game as well, just popping off with those feathers. There was one particular team fight that really did feel like it sealed the deal, though. I believe we're going to dive into that trouble. So let's have a look at this team fight. For me, just before we even get into it, MVP is Control Ward in the little brush in the jungle. That little Control Ward right there.
So I'm going to highlight for you right there, Xcandrel. So yes, basically this Pride flank happened exactly 5 minutes ago when this situation was happening again on the map with BTXL trying to walk in and Fnatic trying to take the Dragon. Pride was coming along, he flanked them and he ended BTXL. This time they took precaution and not only did they take precaution, they put hat tricks and Orome on backline babysit duty. So as we play this out, Pride tries to jump through and he is being spotted slightly by the pink ward. You'll see that instantly 2 people walk over to try and completely destroy that super fed Aatrox. And once they try to go for the Aatrox, Fnatic are trying to come through here, and then BTXL are flanking them from both sides. And when you are all stuck in this choke point and all the feathers are coming through from the Zarya, look where Bean is all alone. His front line has been completely decimated. The fed Aatrox, very sad, because he's dead. And as we play this through, you will see that the feathers, in combination with the Ahri, you cannot touch Deadly. Yet again, he can do whatever he wants, and Orome seals the deal by catching off Ebivan again. This is the first ace for BTXL. They managed to take the Dragon, and shortly after that, they do manage to get the Baron and seal the deal. I feel like they took this fight before on the Dragon and it was such a deal breaker because they got flanked and Pride was huge on that fight. And they semi-learned from that because yes, the pink ward caught him, but if the pink ward didn't catch him because Pride walked all the way around, then it could have been a massacre again. But luckily enough, that pink ward saved the day.
Yeah. That was insanely well played. And again, you know, they as soon as they got that and they got the Baron, they closed out almost instantaneously. They gave Fnatic no room to breathe. And actually, that's the one game that I think Fnatic had a bit of a rough one. Like he was constantly caught in the side lanes. They would just teleport ganking him over and over again. I'm not saying that he played badly, but they were really punishing that Orianna, over and over again. Whereas I think for the rest of the series, I think Fnatic was playing really well. They just targeted him hard in that game, and honestly, that felt like Fnatic could have won very easily, but XL just they dug deep. They dug deep because they needed that win. They wanted to break the curse, and of course, this is the first time that they've won the respective Northern Europe scenes since 2017. So it's a huge win for them, I think, and a lot of confidence going into the European Masters.
Yeah, to be fair, I think that Fnatic threw a lot, not Fnatic, but BTXL threw a lot of Fnatic sometime in this games. It was a bit int. They decided to throw at them when they're just throwing their bodies at them. And at times it worked out. So I feel like in those 10 times they just threw themselves, yeah, they're catching Featherman every now and then. But I think the real pivotal point came down to the team fights. They knew how they wanted to play the composition. They just had to screw it up a bit before they actually really got it going. And that's okay. As long as you take that game, we fine.
Yeah, and actually, I believe I'm just going to double check because I think we've got some highlights from the game, the series. Let's have a look at some of the highlights from this series overall, because of course it was, it feels like it only started about 2 hours ago, and that's basically because it did. This was a very dominant series from XL. This first game, bit of draft diffy, just you couldn't touch the Jinx.
Oh, the thing is that you couldn't touch Deadly the entire series. He was being such a nuisance for Fnatic, and all the way till the end, they just couldn't find a way to deal with him. They tried to play from the top side, they tried to play from the bot side, they tried to play from jungle, and it just was not enough, because no matter if you shut down Deadly, no matter if you put him in a bad matchup, he would always come back and he would always come through. And when Fnatic realized, they're like, oh, Jinx is very strong, we're gonna play it in our combo, we're gonna play kiting. No, because BTXL choose a full backline dive composition that completely dismantles Jinx. And it's like everything Fnatic can do this year, this season, we can do better.
Yeah, it just felt like now I saw the draft of the first game, now I see the second one that also come back and tuned into. Like, it just felt like every time Fnatic thought they had cracked the code, BTXL just came up with the counter in draft. Even in the third game, where you see so many of the people from Fnatic wants to go in, you get the disengage from Saya, you get the disengage even with a Hecarim ult just throwing himself there, and the Ahri coming in with all that CC, just peel it down with the slows, with the damage. Like, it's just crazy how good they are at adapting in a best of 3, and it makes me really happy to see coming out from one of our teams in the NLC.
And you know what? People are gonna call me biased because I've been fangirling Marcoon. Wasn't his best series. It wasn't his best series. But you know what? Cool book.
He is still the season MVP coming in hot. Here we go.
Wait.
Yeah, that's not good. All right, so I gotta say he's not finishing on a good line, but I gotta say for the regular season he was the first blood king, 70% first blood ratio. That was like the highest amount we got in the jungle. No one was even close to be up there. He got them ahead in the early game where it was so easy for them to just clean out the games really easily. Pathing genius, he knew where to be exactly at the right time, at the right place, getting those first blood, getting that return gank. He's an 18-year-old prodigy. I just want to highlight that. We are an European regional league designed to create EU talent, and what you're looking at right now is the future of EU. 18-year-old jungler Macoon right here, and he's absolutely unbannable as well. We've seen him on the Nidalee, we saw him on the Graves, we've seen him on the Heckrams that didn't really work out, but worked out early in the season, and that's what we're giving him the MVP for the consistency coming out from this bright young lad.
I mean, yeah, he deserves it, absolutely. I think he was one of the pivotal reasons that XL have leveled up this season as well. I think, jungle was often a facilitating role for them. I think, I think Taxa was good at doing what he was supposed to do, but Marcoon offers another tool to the kit for XL and gives them much more flexibility from that role. So a super good performance from him. He deserves the season MVP overall. I believe, though, I finally now get the chance to speak to some of the guys from XL. I believe I'm here with Swiffer and Ad. No, wait, I think is it Swiffer and Advian, or have I just got
it's just Advian here.
Oh, okay. Hello, mate. Okay, first of all, congratulations. You are the NLC champions. You crushed Fnatic 3-0. You're in the European Masters group stages, guaranteed as well. And it's the first time you've ever, as an organization, managed to do it against Fnatic. Since 2017 was the last time that XL won. How is the team feeling? Like, what's the team atmosphere like following that series?
I mean, the team atmosphere is pretty good, I'd say, considering we just won. Yeah. Now, we're all really ecstatic, but I think it's also something coming into the split, obviously aiming at the Masters, and so this is